Quite a tall forward structure last week reaped the benefits. It's a good lineup. The return of Clark is important into the centre bounce, but also Stephen Lawrence coming back. He's a very hard young man. Missed 1 week with a suspension last week, but back into it. And what a wonderful return to football after 2 knee reconstructions a couple of years back and right into the fray.
Adam Husker's a man who's bobbed around the league, and we've got to say, from one club to another, that he plays good footy.
He does play very good footy, doesn't he? 49 games with Sydney, some 37 with Port Adelaide, now the 14th here today to give him his 100th, and keeps moving. But, you know, perhaps Brisbane is his home. I mean, when you look at him there, I think his personality probably does suit the lifestyle of the Brisbane area.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, it's Saturday football, our game of the day. It's the Kangaroos and the Lions coming up with all of the action right after this.
Okay.
Yes, got you there, mate. Yep. Okay. And Aussie will just lead into that himself. Yeah. Overcast day. Hopefully the rain will stay away. Toss of the coin now. Wayne Carey on the left. Michael Voss on the right. 2 champion players. Carey wins the toss. Having an interesting season as we say good afternoon to Peter McKenna, one champion, to talk about another.
Thank you, Dennis. And, well, he certainly is a champion. Generally, I should say, recognised as the best player in the competition. He's only kicked 23 goals this year, but a total of 514 for his career. And probably not his most productive year, but he plays in the hardest position on the field, and he's very high up in the contested marks. And whenever North are down, Dennis, you can rely on Wayne Carey to lift that extra notch and kick that 60-metre goal and that match-winning goal.
Richard Osborne is down on the boundary. Aussie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Fantastic day for football. A beautiful Melbourne July day, Dennis. A little bit overcast, but hopefully there won't be any rain. a great game it's going to be. Big opportunity for both teams, third and fourth on the ladder. I was up in Sydney last weekend and saw the Brisbane Lions playing very good football. There's a young fellow who made his debut last weekend, Des Headland. Look out for him. He is an absolute sensation. You say it about a lot of guys, but this kid is only a teenager, but extremely well developed, very strong, doesn't hold back at all. He dominates. Whatever play he was in last weekend, he dominated. So look out for him. He is going to be fantastic.
Thanks, Ozzy. Typical Melbourne out. It's a great day for footy, which means it's freezing cold and there's a chance of a shower.
Spoken by a true Perth boy.
Okay.
It does rain over there now and again.
But it doesn't get well, it did this week, I've got to say. Bite my tongue. It did get freezing cold early in the week. But I wasn't outside playing footy at the time.
And you mentioned champions. We just saw one there. Michael Voss, is he a good player? And good to see Johnny Longmire back, Terry.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Pete. I think it's very important just for the morale around the club. Been a wonderful servant of the North Melbourne, now the Kangaroos Football Club. That's a big task there on Keating. Keating was in good form last week, 3 goals at the SCG.
Kennedy on Carey. A real test this for the Brisbane Lions. Last week they were strong against Sydney, challenged a couple of times and pulled away. Carey acknowledges to the umpire he's ready to go. The umpires this afternoon, Mitchell, Goldspink and Kelsey. Ashcroft and Grant. The reserve umpire is out. Good happening. Saturday football from the G. Away we go. The ground in glorious condition. Rucks go at it. Clark, good to see him back at his second attempt. Knocks it down to half-forward, taken by Lappin to Voss. Voss about 65 metres out, blanketed off the boot. Wanders inside the 50. Full-blooded Archer. He knows no other way. He's run down from behind. Advantage will be paid, and the ball will come back. And Malloy will take this kick just outside the attacking 50. Good aggressive running by Jared Malloy after Archer had broken away. Thought he was clear. Oops, got him. Malloy, long kick down towards full forward. Plenty of jostling. Blakey, clear run at the ball, grabbed it.
Yes, lovely mark to Blakey. Gives it across to King, who gives him terrific drive across half back. Over the back is Eustace. A quick little kick, gained about 20 metres in towards the half forward line. McRae, he shuffles it out. Champion. Back it comes to Scott. Scott on the left, bends it back, but again, Blakey is there to take the mark. And what a terrific servant he's been for North Melbourne since coming from Fitzroy. Now he drives it wide and long, and it just doesn't quite meet the mark. Good gutsy effort here at half forward by Sean Hart, and he put himself in and copped it hard.
The Lions really have opened physically well. I mean, backing back into that contest, quite prepared to take the knock. The tackle from Malloy earlier, there are good signs early for the Lions.
Eustace probing kick well inside the 50. Headland, good recovery, then slipped over on one knee, slides the hand pass away. Black shoots and misses, not by much.
Well, there was a bit of a replay, wasn't there, from last week, but it was the other way around when Black gave the handball out to Headland and he kicked a goal with his first kick in league football. Looking to repay the honour this week, but they missed out by the margin.
King to Stevens, miscues with a kick, it bounces through the centre square. Carey couldn't control it. Coming across Ackermanis, claimed by Carey. Shaw, bit slow, kicks inside the 50. Beautiful kick back. And McKernan is now 35 metres out, directly in front. The first time they've gone forward, the Kangaroos.
Well, the Lions have done all the early work, heading inside their 50-metre area a couple of occasions, 3 times in fact, and this is the first venture in from the Kangaroos, and this is where they are obviously the most dangerous. When McKernan can float down and play across half forward, just the height of the man, his ability to be able to read the ball in flight, and more often than not finishing it off. Kicked 4 goals in round 1. It's been a little bit dry since then. This will be the perfect start for him.
McKernan, question of accuracy. He's got it. First goal.
Well, that's the way to get your first goal too, isn't it? By utilising the players who are there for that particular role. See Scholl in there, McKernan there, back in the centre of the ground there now. But just the quality of the tackle there from Wayne Carey. Pete McKenna said by Carey's own standards, he hasn't played as well this year, but when he does that small pieces in the game, that makes all the difference. At centre forward, he can create a lot through tackling like that.
Kangaroos by 5 points after that Nice goal by McKernan. Oh, he copped one across the neck then, could have received a free kick, then socketed off the ground. McRae goes to the ground. He was caught high, and that was by Winston Abraham. Craig McRae is normally a great kick, or that's a driving drop punt. Into Champion, who marks. That's a good mark in front of McCartney, and he'll have to kick from about 46 metres.
Well, he's the player to be able to do this, isn't he, Richard Champion? He's playing forward, he plays it in defence and other times, but big, strong man who can really able to give something extra into the Lions forward line. He'd be able to complement Keating, who's down there as well. The important here for his own confidence. His goal scoring hasn't been all that productive of late.
Well, he's a former fullback. He actually kicks from right on 50. He lets fly. It looks pretty good. That's a great kick for a goal. So the Brisbane Lions has replied quickly to North's goal by McKernan, and that supporter looked very happy about it.
Every side needs a tall, versatile player, one who can plug the gaps wherever they're necessary in the back line or the forward line. And for Lee Matthews, Richard Champion probably is that player. We've seen him do the job at the full back line, centre half back, but then go forward. Started the season, kicked 3 goals against Essendon earlier on, so it's not beyond him to be able to repeat a dose like that this afternoon.
Lions have started well. They lead by a point. Plenty of the ball in midfield and beyond. Base of the pack, it's Voss, feeds it out to Hart, away again. This is Scott, fumbles, back to Hart, man on for the hand pass. Out in front, Ashcroft. Ashcroft about 70 metres from goal, pulls it back. Not a bad kick either. Blakey, sensing the danger, got across, dragged down, hurried kick. Abraham inside the centre square, plays on. Penetrating kick, this one. Kingsley, got a bounce off his chest, lines overran, through comes White, held it up. We'll get the free kick. White, little chip pass out wide. Eustace, look at him go, like a fish from the wing down towards half forward. It floats beyond the 50. Longmire, uncontested, plays on.
And John Longmire doing well in defence. Kicks wide, looking for Abraham, who slips away from Eustace and marks on centre wing. Another one of the great kicks out there on the ground. Oh, give a bloke a rap. Looks like open. He kicks straight in the man on the mark. Boss will head for the boundary line. You can bet on that. Actually gained about 25 metres. There you are saying a bloke, one of the great kicks on the ground, he kicks into the man.
Well, it is uncharacteristic, isn't it? The great example there is Adam Eustace. When you're on the mark, you need to work the mark. Don't just allow the player to have an easy kick. Work it very, very hard, and he did on that occasion. Wins the throw-in for his side.
Boss goes to ground, and the umpire sensibly will come in and bounce. I think we're in for a terrific game here. Some great players out on the ground. Two very evenly matched sides. As we see young Headland, there's Headland off the ground. Probably the matchup wasn't all that good down there.
Yeah, he came on, Luke Power came up in, Alistair Lynch, Brett Voss and Marcus Picken also on the bench. And for the Kangaroos, Dirk Kay, Clayton Harvey and Williams.
After Walsh and Scholl initiated proceedings. Well done.
Good exchange of work in the middle of the ground by the youngsters, wasn't it? There, Pickett's left foot kick. And Carey just launches himself. Matthew Kennedy's direct opponent was caught a couple of metres behind. Carey going forward took it strongly.
Carey, 25 metres out. Straight through.
Well, the two big guns for North Melbourne in terms of height and strength in the forward line, get them away to the start. McKernan and Carey, the 2 goals. Pickett, good involvement here. Scholl was strong, and what he was always looking for, he's looking for the straight running kicker coming from behind. It wasn't there for him, but then it was for Scotty Welsh, who fed on back towards Pickett. That's the perfect setup because Pickett's running towards goal, can see what he's kicking to, floated the ball beautifully into Carey.
Well, one of the strengths of North Melbourne is that those 2 running half-backs, and one of them is Pickett, the other being King, and set it up for Carey. And Carey plays inside that 50-metre arc a lot, which makes him very dangerous. Here's Voss racing onto the left. He drives it down the full forward direction, and that's a good mark, and that could be 50. Malloy's pointing to the umpire saying that should be 50 after I'd marked it was knocked out of his hands.
Well, it's a good clean mark, and then we watch Glenn Archer afterwards. There it is there. And a couple of goes there from Archie. He's a little bit upset with himself, I think, more than anything. I mean, you can't concede front position and not be in there being competitive. And if Glenn Archer has anything about his game, it is being competitive. Big responsibility in the absence of Mickey Martin and Martin Pike today for Archer to perform well.
Jared Malloy from directly in front. He's happy with it. It's a goal. So it's goal for goal at the moment. A point the margin, Brisbane in front, and I think we're in for a rib tickler here. And some terrific players. That'll be a great clash, Terry, that one.
No doubt about that one at all. I mean, Archer, we see here how disappointed he gets with himself, but Jared Malloy has done very well here. It's a good, strong mark. He opened up early with a good chase on Archer and tackle to get a goal, and that's his 100th goal in league football after spending time with Fitzroy. And so the $50 he'd lost to Craig McRae as to who was going to get the 100th goal first, can't get it back now.
Simon Black very good at that last centre bounce, getting the quick hand pass away. Our man in Brisbane, Matty Campbell, has a very high opinion of young Black as the ball is slapped down by Clark towards half forward. Coming up is Power to Voss. Voss goes out wide, kicks inside the 50. Longmire leads back now, close to the boundary line, takes it across. Lost his compass. Boundary throwing.
Disguised it beautifully as he pretended to keep it in and kept walking over.
As my son would say, the trade-off is that people think you're an unco. But you go across the boundary line anyway. It's tossed in down there. Keating couldn't control it. Taken high with Stevens. Well, that's the sleeper hold. And the umpire's going to bounce it. Well, how about that?
Probably because he ducked his head down, probably. Oh, did he?
Oh,
it was high.
So.
It was high, wasn't it?
Well, side headlock. McCartney couldn't control it. Hart at close quarters. Champion spinning, turning, hand passes across the goal face. Pickett onto the loose ball and comes away running. Stops. Hand passes now. Archer crosses the 50. Kicks it back towards the centre square. Abraham has already complained to the bench about Pete's boys carrying. That's a better kick. Goes down towards half forward and Carey. Up he goes. Fisted away by Kennedy. Harvey on the ground. Couldn't stop it. Storming through his bell. Throws it on the boot. Shot. Well, they've had 3 marks inside the 50. 2 of them have resulted in goals. Will this be another?
We'd expect so, wouldn't you? I mean, Craig Scholl in previous years has really gone from being the defender than wingman when he won the best and fairest back in '91 into a very good foil in the forward line. He working with McKernan and Carey's dangerous.
Scholl. Has it got the carry? Well, it hasn't got the line either. Across the line at the high. Carey claiming a mark, but no doubting it was about a metre beyond.
Alistair Lynch has come on from the Brisbane Lions, replacing Clark Keating.
So the big men getting the run in the game. Here's Carey right on the line, and the conditions are perfect. There isn't a breath of wind here in Melbourne, so as it stays like this, you'd expect the big men to start to control the ball in the air.
Darryl White, a beautiful mark. He read that beautifully. On to Stephen Lawrence, who drives it long. He's looking for Champion. McCartney did well. Just a use of the shoulders and hips in that marking contest put himself in the better position. So Jason McCartney is a greatly improved player. Harvey was calling for it, as you could see now. McCartney kicks long, looking for McKernan. Well done by Kennedy. Here's Lawrence. McRae, the little chip pass. And he finds Lappin. They've got some talent, Brisbane. Lappin, a very, very talented player. From centre wing, brings it in towards half forward. Malloy sets himself, almost took it over the back. Voss goes to ground. Archer, still got it, Archer. Heads back towards Stevens. Stevens will probably walk over. No, he doesn't. He bends it back a little bit on the dangerous side. Back it comes towards Pickett. That was from Simpson. Now King, one of those running half-backs I was talking about. Talk about run, look at him go. He runs to half forward, and then a very, very clever little kick to Scholl. And let's see if Scholl can kick a little bit more accurately than what he did last time.
Well, what a great run that was. Just taking the whole game on is David King. Knee problems early in the year, but you wouldn't pick it now, would you? The way he carries the ball down through the centre of the ground, then that's that deft little kick there towards Scholl.
Well, Scholl from just outside 50 bombs at goal, and that's unlike Craig Scholl. He's normally a dead-eye dick. he's missed 2 in a row.
Came in with 21 goals, 9 against his name. So yes, Peter, the odds are with him to convert. And you'd think after missing one, more often than not, they straighten themselves up to get the second one, but not on that occasion.
No, both have gone left. Here's Kennedy. Oh, look at the man on the mark, Kingsley. Down goes Black, but he had the ball. Play on's the call. Stevens swoops on it, lines up the goal, stabs it in short instead. Pulled everybody, but not Scholl, who kept coming on the lead, and he's marked about 5 metres out.
And he's a supreme optimist. He's going to be brought 10 metres around from where he is.
Nothing wrong with trying, Pete.
And what about this of Anthony Stevens? You don't get away from an Anthony Stevens tackle. Very strong, technically perfect, went to ground, first man up and then won the ball and hit Scholl on the lead.
So Scholl, his 3rd attempt in the last 5 minutes. Kangaroos lead by a point, just to make it 7. He tugs it left again, but it's okay. Did it brush the post? It did. Well, a couple of Lions quick to point to the post, and the goal umpire agreed with them. So Scholl, everything is going left at the moment.
Well, there he is. The drop's not too bad, but it's just slightly inside, and so the kicking foot then chases it, and that's where the hook comes from. Just the drop, not square on the boot.
Or an ordinary kick in into the danger area. It's knocked on. Scholl gets it back to Stevens. Oh, interception here. Oh, that was good play. Darryl White gets it to Ashcroft. In towards half forward. It's a race for the ball. Longmire brought down from behind. Simpson, he sockers it off the ground. The direction of Harvey. Brent Harvey, centre wing. Heads around the boundary line. It's a tunnel ball job close to the line. Stevens takes it over. So it'll be a throw-in on centre wing.
That was a great tackle by Alistair Lynch, wasn't it? The way he straightened Longmire up instead of crashing into his back.
And what's also impressive is that it's been the Lions forward line, Dennis, that has been laying those strong, hard tackles. That one there from Lynch, we saw Malloy earlier. And this man here, Simon Black, he's been very productive early.
Emerging young star. The kick goes inside the 50. Pickett swoops on it. That was enough. Was taken high. No free kick. Longmire over the shoulder. Chance on the outer side for King. Into the path of Archer. Coming through is Scott. Robert Scott hurriedly onto the boot. Floats it down a half forward. Grant gave a contest. Leppich waiting at the back does well. Runs away. Lovely kick to Voss. Just forward of the wing. Lynch wants it high. That's the direction the kick takes. Down towards Lynch. He's double teamed. Almost the mark. Power did well. Gets it across towards Champion. Champion falling to the ground. Hooks. We wait. I think it's okay. I think he's got his second.
Well, they get up there, don't they, Brisbane? They're working the ball into their forward line. They haven't been as pretty and as efficient as the Kangaroos have when they've been forward. They're getting them through very strong, aggressive work, and that there from Power just charging through. Had to take Byron Pickett on, so that's a fair one to take on, but then gets it to Champion. And as Dennis called, just on the fall, being able to throw it on the boot and get the goal.
Well, there's Lee Matthews and Magic McLean on his right, and on the left of screen was a great player for Brisbane. Terrific play by Luke Power then with strength. Oh, there's Clark crashing his way through. And also Voss, that was fantastic. Onto the left, down towards Malloy. Archer would have an edge in pace there, so will Pickett. And Pickett gets there first. But Malloy's still going. Well done, Jared Malloy. And Archer, he tried to knock it on and missed. Ashcroft is there, still in play. Now it's over. Or is it? Oh, I thought that did cross the line. Maybe the whole ball didn't. Champion in towards full forward. It comes off hands of Brooklyn. I still reckon that ball crossed the line back there.
Oh, no doubt.
And I think every other player did too. They've all stopped here. And there it is.
That crossed the line all right.
And the umpire's vision certainly wasn't blocked by anything, was it?
Still, the Kangaroos have got to play to the whistle.
Yep.
And King to bring it in.
The crowd have just seen it on the big screen. You should. That's what the roar was.
King for distance. Grant. Good judgment. Held his spot. Took the mark over Voss. Quality opposition. There's Scott. Grant down towards centre half forward. Leppich developing to a fine young player. Swings it out wide to the wing. Plenty of Lions out here. Malloy to Lappin. Lappin comes back towards the middle short. Taken by Black to the run of Ashcroft. In trouble holding the ball. just inside the attacking 50.
See, that's
Simpson.
poor football.
Well, no doubt about that, Mac. It's good play on football, but you don't give it to a guy when he's going to get tackled like Ashcroft did then.
Blakey got it to Archer. Out wide, this is Bell.
There's a lot of pressure on in this game. Boss tried to lay the tackle. Here's Leppich, who Dennis was speaking so highly of, and no wonder. And that's a very clever kick to McRae. And McRae, that's beautifully weighted skills, that is. On to Ackermanis, on the Hart. Hart outside 50 will drive it long. A one-on-one contest. Malloy will mark. Oh, gee, that forward line's doing all right down there. They've got some talent. Malloy will kick from 30 metres, and Archer's not happy.
No, this is really going to test Glenn Archer, this one, because Malloy's able to get off him there and then be able to judge the run onto the ball and take it. The kick favoured him perfectly, but to be able to stay that far from your opponent, that's very dangerous ground from Glenn Archer.
Malloy looking for his second from directly in front. He stabs at this one right through the middle. Well, Brisbane are looking good early in this game, and well, they've gone on to 4-2 to 2-3, so at North they always fight like heck, and they can be down, they come back.
Well, they were tested last week, weren't they, by Carlton. Carlton came out and hit them with everything. The most aggressive first quarter from Carlton, and they led by just under 4 goals at quarter time as a result of that. Brisbane have taken the lead, and they've been aggressive at the ball without doubt. North holding back a little at the moment.
Great start by Jared Malloy, 2 goals. His career high 7 on this ground against Melbourne back in '97. And they're dominating inside the centre square, the Lions. It's become a long field for the Kangaroos so far. Everything they've generated generally has been from half back and beyond. And again here as the ball comes down. McCartney thumps it away. McRae in the opposite direction, tackled by Bell. Jarred out of there. Blakey to Stevens. Stevens, little chip pass. Simpson running into space, plays on immediately, releasing King around the outer side to Durkay. Oh, it popped out for a moment. Durkay, a long way out, but not beyond him. Thought about laying it off. Now he kicks at goal. That was a stuttering approach, but a great finish. It's a goal. Well, it's great to be undecided.
Well, he's a 50-50, isn't he? There was 8 goals, 8 leading up to that shot at goal that he kicked for the season. So it was will I or won't I situation. You're right, Dennis. The eyes were darting around. I'm not sure whether he wanted it, but then when he went, it was just a little pop kick. Now, I'm not all that happy with those kicks. I think you need to hit them fairly strongly, but he got it.
I think he was trying to set it up to the goal square. Look at pushing and shoving Darryl White and Gary Durkay. 5 points the margin, Brisbane in front. So back to the centre where Brisbane have been doing pretty well. McKernan gains about 20 metres. Abraham, he is very, very skillful on the bell, and this is where North are dangerous. They've got some high flyers. Oh, Brisbane players came from everywhere. Welsh goes to ground. Ackermanis lays the tackle. White should head for the boundary line, and Stephen Lawrence is down and might be out. It might have been in that marking contest.
There's no doubt about that. When he comes down, it's virtually his chin that makes first contact with the ground. Just so courageous the way he went back. There was just a cluster of Lions charging into the ball, and that's their defensive nature. The Lions is that they all get back, and here they come here. There's Lyon and there's Scott with him. Might have been in that, but then he falls totally limp. Both players went down, and Lawrence the last one up.
He's a tough cookie.
Oh, he's been so impressive to me in the couple of games I've seen them this year. He has no regard for his own personal safety, very much like his father.
I was about to say that I played on Barry a couple of times. He'd be up there on the Gold Coast watching, I would think. And he's a tough little cookie, this bloke, and it'd take a lot to hurt him.
Had to insist to get on the stretcher, which is probably common sense. So the game has stopped.
Yep, we still have the rule, Dennis, that once the stretcher comes on, the player is to utilise it. He goes off, and then he's off for some 20 minutes before he can be replaced. But here it is here. I mean, Lee Matthews has got a real commitment to defence in this Lions line-up. They're the second best in the competition, only behind the Eagles. And what I see is that they're always keen to get numbers back. On this particular occasion, there was 3 players there. They all had eyes for the ball. Yeah. The voice at ground level of other players was what was perhaps lacking. But
when you have eyes for the ball and you're committed to it and away you go, sometimes these accidents do occur.
Yeah, straight up the race for young Lawrence. I think it was friendly fire that got him. I think that right arm from Lawrence, or rather from the other man flying there, Scott, did the damage. So we've got a ball up, 5 points the difference. Lions lead, and certainly the most impressive side so far. Now what's happened? A blood rule off the ball is sending Pickett off the ground. Well, where did that bandage come from? The trainer, I guess. The trainer may have been out to him during that break.
Now Dennis will be watching to make sure that the player coming off the interchange bench is allowed to get into position.
Which didn't happen last week.
No, at Subi it certainly didn't, and the Tigers would have had every right to be questioning the decision. Pete, they just took over the centre bounce before he was anywhere near it.
That's right. McKee was coming on, and Richo, I think, had come off.
A bit tough.
It was. So at least here, the emergency umpire, he was out. He brought Byron Pickett off there to make sure he was doing it at a reasonable pace. Now the central umpires have waited until Ken Kingsley is up in his position. We'll start again now.
So it's North's half forward line. Lynch did the ruck work, but taken by Robert Scott, bends it back in front of goal. Durkay was there with some good defensive work. Darryl White was there, and Durkay thought he had that mark, but a terrific defensive play, and that's where Brisbane have improved. And the Kangaroos would want to get Pickett out there very quickly. Very important to them. Or McKernan went with that. Oh, there's a quick kick by Harvey. He's kicked it straight to Boss, who seems to be everywhere at the moment. Over to Ackermanis now. He's got a loose man on centre wing. Oh, the very poorly weighted kick. He may not have seen Pickett.
No, there's no way.
Pickett bends it back to Scott. Oh, they're going in hard, Brisbane. There's Ackermanis. Still got it, Ackermanis. White's grabbed when he didn't have it. Oh, cleverly done by Boss. Oh, look at Pickett chipping in. That was fantastic. Back it comes to Boss. That was given by Simon Black. Centre wing. Oh, look at the pressure out here. Scott. Now Ashcroft. Ashcroft, an ordinary looking kick in towards the half forward line. Enormous pressure. Look at the tackling. Oh, gee, these are two final sides in my opinion. Here's Power. Malloy, will it sit for him? Still can't pick it up. And did that go over? No, the umpire said no again. Simpson. Malloy to Power. Power, the chip kick is fantastic. Terrific presence of mind to Ashcroft.
John McEnroe would not like this boundary umpire.
I don't know whether that one actually the whole ball went over. The first time it did. Let's have a look. Here. It's on the line. Ooh, it was close. Maybe it did. Maybe we need 4 boundaries. Although he was close, there was no excuse there. The boundary umpire was there.
No, just a Cyclops.
So Craig McRae, gee, terrific pressure by those forwards. Oh, an ordinary kick by McRae. A terrible kick. He's missed it to the left. You'd normally back him 99 times out of 100.
He knew it was out.
Yeah, he's done the right thing by the Kangaroos, but what he didn't do, he just didn't hit it firmly enough. I thought he just floated in on the kick. It was a bit the way in which he went about it. Didn't kick through the goals, just tried to get it over the line more than anything.
King has bolted around the outer side. Interesting kick, well controlled by Stevens low down. Feeds it back to Longmire. Stevens sold into trouble. Played it pretty well. McCartney, Pickett. He crept back onto the ground. That confused Ackermanis a couple of minutes ago as the kick comes up towards the wing. Going back to Lepic. Dropped it. Slaps it directly to Bell. Bell punts it inside the 50. Going back is Grant. What a terrific mark by Shannon Grant.
That's the second good one today. Took one earlier on the half-back flank. Quality player.
Abraham.
Shannon Grant took that mark. Stephen Lawrence walked around from the boundary line, so he looks 100%. He'll be coming back on shortly, I'd say, when he's allowed to.
100%.
He looked pretty good, considering the knock he took.
I just wonder if he's still seeing a few stars, though, Stephen.
But that's from Aussie, who had a good sleep one day, too. So he's 100%.
He might think he's at the SCG, actually.
Yeah.
Abraham directly in front, 40 metres out. Leans back and misses to the right.
I was just looking up above the main scoreboard, Dennis, and there is not one breath of wind. The flags are limp, so it's one of those very dull days there. Stevie Lawrence is in that pack somewhere. Here's Darryl White, who is a terrific player to watch. All Leppich was thought about going. The umpire called him on. Lynch to Chris Scott. Oh, this is dangerous to Eustace. Quick hand pass by Scholl. Now Abraham from 35 metres. Abraham pings it and has kicked the goal. And some good work there, Terry, by the interchange player Kent Kingsley.
Yeah, there was, Pete, but really the Lions made a mess of this themselves. They get to a stage here where they need a kicker. Someone's got to get it, and then that extra long handball from Scott didn't get to where it wanted to with Eustace, and the Kangaroos forward line were continuing to hover, and if you're going to have someone like Abraham hovering around him, you don't need to give him half a chance because he'll make you pay like he did on that occasion.
The bench players, there's Lawrence limbering up. Good to see him back. Winston Abraham, 27 goals for the season. This time last year he'd been at 23. Keating knocks it down. Grant, was he carried forward? Ashcroft still got him. They tie it up in there. Look at Black working over the top. A lot to like about Black, and a ball up down towards half forward for the Lions. Kangaroos lead it by a point, probably against the run of play. Now Longmire, that rule is for Longmire, I think, going into the forward line, and Lynch has gone with him. Meanwhile, McKernan slaps it down. Bell did brilliantly. Got it across to Stevens. Kicks to half forward. Scott with courage. Ackerman picked up the crumb. Runs through the centre square. Good kick too. Finds keeping a man on in the square. Now the moment is lost. There's Scott on his feet, but hurting. The lawyer was on momentarily, unguarded back in the square after Keating took the mark. Scott, terrific courage.
Well, that's the second time, or third time in actual fact, he's gone back like that. Chris Scott worn the brunt of it there.
So Keating, at the other end, will kick from about 35 metres out. This to regain the lead. It's close. I think it's okay. Lions back in front.
Well, Chris Scott, I think he was the one involved in the Stephen Lawrence clash, and he did it earlier on the opening minutes of the game where he was asked to back and get into the contest. He's very courageous. I mean, that's what courage is in football. Courage in football is when you go back into a contest, eyes only for the ball. You know the defence is coming on you, but you need to stand your ground. This particular stage, the side has benefited greatly from that piece of play by Scott.
So back we go to the centre. John Longmire has been moved into the ruck against Keating. Keating got his hand to it. Taken away by Lappin, who drives it forward again. No mark down there to Malloy. Over the back is Stevens. Stevens hits onto his right foot. Kicks it out wide. Lappin getting there first. And he might take this over. Oh, he's helped on his way towards the fence. He's not too happy about that attention. But Michael Voss has had plenty of the ball. He's had 8 kicks and 2 handballs so far. Malloy's kicked 2 and Champion has kicked 2 for Brisbane. Again, Keating got his hand to it. And here's Brent Harvey, just a little slip, and he kicks it around the boundary line on the true centre wing position for a throw-in.
So the Kangaroos, 9 straight victories, being tested again in this opening term this afternoon. Nothing new to them, very much one of the benchmarks in the competition. Keating, was he holding on? Longmire was in front. Black over the ball, over him Simpson. Still in there somewhere, bouncing around. Now Leppich close to the boundary line, or rather Lappin. Sockers. Harvey takes it across. Nigel Lappin, quality player, dangerous player. Throw in on the wing. First term winding down. Ruckman lock arms. Directed down by Longmire, taken by Voss. Bell, who's been good, just dropped it. Through comes Hart. Hart against the line. Can the Lions manufacture a late goal? Coming across was Stevens to thump it double-fisted across the line. He's been good.
Getting back into that defensive area a lot, Terry.
Oh, he covers a lot of ground, doesn't he? Really prepared to run hard. And that's the thing about defence. Now, defence isn't about one player against another player. It's about a unit of players getting back, filling up the zone, then being prepared to run forward.
Champion did well in a tight situation. Almost been high down there on McRae, close to the boundary line. Out it goes. Dying seconds now, 11 seconds to go. The Lions looking for a late goal. They're up by 5 points.
So the play has to be the flip over the back. The ruckman here, it needs to be Big Keating. Try and bring it over the back and have a smaller player charging through.
Longmire got his hands to it, and then the players dive on top of it. So the time clock still ticking down. That'll be the last bit of play. And there's the siren to end a very, very entertaining first term here. But probably Brisbane had the better of the play, Terry. Generally, they've got their noses in front, but possibly could have been a little bit further in front.
Yeah, they've got inside their 50 enough, haven't they? And compared to it's 18-9, and so they've been quite dominant in that particular area. But when the Kangaroos, they go hard and they score.
5-3 plays 4-4 then. The Lions in front after the Kangaroos won the toss. Champion Malloy have got 2 goals apiece. 5-3 plays 4-4.
Telstra announces massive international price cuts. For the first time, new Telstra Easy Rates give you 2 ways to get low flat rates to every country in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For a quick chat, dial 0011 and save with Easy Minutes. For a good long chat, dial 0018 and save even more with Easy Half Hours. It's never been cheaper to call overseas with Telstra. Thanks for joining us. It's round 14 from the MCG. Quarter time, very entertaining game so far. The Brisbane Lions 5-3-33. The Kangaroos 4-4-28 for the Lions. Champion and Malloy 2 goals apiece. Keating's got the other. And all singles to the Roos. Durkee, Abraham, Carey and McKernan. Voss 10 possessions in the first term. Stevens 9 as we go down to Aussie.
Well, as you said, Dennis, a great game of football. Brisbane probably had more opportunities to kick goals, but as we know with North Kangaroos, they always stick at it, and it's going to be a great game. There's no clear sign of who's going to win this one. The weather's still a little inclement. I don't think there'll be any rain, but boy, what a great quarter of football.
Glenn Archer has had his hands full in defence. Longmire started back there, pushed up forward, then finished the term on the ball. And there's the engine room as far as the Kangaroos are concerned. Simpson, Bell, Grant, 3 of the 4. Stevens the other one, of course. Players who get the job done. Hard running players, but so far the better run has come from the Brisbane Lions. McKernan. His jumping continues to be a problem. Just mistiming his leap so often. And really, when he was on the ball, the Lions had the better share of what was going on in the centre square. Darren Goldspink, a veteran. Clark Keating, very good last week against Sydney. Start of the second term, Saturday football on 7. Kangaroos and the Lions, and the visitors up by 5 points. They need to stay in touch with the top 3 sides. McKernan directs it down. Simpson left it behind. Hart puts it down towards half forward. Power missed it. Getting back with a hand pass. Grant to King. Goes wide to Simpson. Simpson tracking it out towards the boundary. The long kick, not a bad one either, although Scott at the jump as it turned out on McKernan. Too much carry on the kick. Scott.
Dennis, just once again, the Lions get the centre bounce. They've been very good in there. They're just saying all their attack comes from that position.
Champion, poor kick. Getting back is King.
Yes, he didn't need to kick on the left foot then.
They need to really pressure the opposition side. He could have hit the goal square. They've got some tall timber down there and really turn the pressure back on the Kangaroos. The Lions jumped out well. I mean, it was always important that first centre bounce to do well. Dennis Cometti had mentioned that the Lions engine room had been doing well in there, and they came out and Hart gets the first one out. They've started well again.
Well, back it goes towards the boundary line, so it'll be another throw in. We can watch this ruck contest. You know, there's Boss and Shannon Grant. Boss has been terrific, 8 and 2. Grant has had 2 and 2. Now McKernan and Keating. Keating flipped it over the back. Some strong work. Scott went in very hard. Still going, Scott, the
Great
Boss.
hands.
That was terrific. Onto McRae. Still going McRae. Back to Boss. That's beautiful football to Black. And Black kicks it out up towards Power. Power trapped that magnificently. Well done by the young fella. Then he bends it back towards the half-forward line to Brett Boss. He gives it off. Malloy for his third. That is fantastic team play by Brisbane. Well, Terry, that was just sheer effort.
So what they did, Pete, they just kept the ball alive. They just maintained possession of it. Sometimes a little bit heart and mouth, exchange of handballs, and it ends up here with young Powell. But there's an impressive aspect. It's 4-1. It's only some 30 metres out from the Lions' goal. 4 Brisbane Lions forwards, 1 defender, and they're going to win the odds that way anytime. First goal of the second quarter, important. An important goal, Pete, that first one of that second quarter. They did it so well with that quick, sure hands.
Yep, Jared Malloy's kicked 3, and of course they're getting it down there quickly. There's Black getting it out. The Boss has been sensational. Boss drives long. It's a floating kick. Power waits back. McCartney read it beautifully. Running back with the flight. That was a very good mark. He kicks it wide, and he finds Adam Simpson. Now, Simpson wanting to play on. He does so. Boss has to put himself in front. McKernan missed it. That's Brett Boss. Over to Marcus Ashcroft, who drives long. McCartney puts himself in front. Well done, Malloy. Spoiled. Here's Archer. Got his hands full down there today. Gives it to Pickett. Now Shannon Grant. Now Blakey.
Yeah, they got some run.
They are. They love to run the ball through the middle. And here's Durkay. Durkay drives it long and low. And that's a beautiful pass. And it's
Ken Kingsley just coming on out there. But, yep, I mean, we saw his debut a couple of weeks ago. 6 goals he kicked in that. Hasn't had much of an opportunity since then. But when you've got space like that to lead into, and North Melbourne and Kangaroos are the most efficient side in taking from defence into the forward line. They use the least disposals per goal than any side in the competition.
Well, they came straight down the middle on that occasion. There's Kingsley kicking a goal. He might have hit the post. He did. So bad luck to the young fella. But well, Brisbane doing it well. They lead by 10 points.
Steve Lawrence can come on the ground. As you said, Wheels, he needs to be off for 20 minutes. So 10-minute mark of this quarter, he can come on. He's joined on the bench by Matthew Clark, Des Hedlund, Marcus Picken at the moment for Lions, and for Kangaroos, Mooney, Clayton, Welsh and Rawlings. And one more interesting thing, one of the Brisbane Lions trainers had a camera videotaping play, whether it be tactical or just for his own personal use, but that's against the rules, so that was confiscated.
Oh. Kennedy dropped it, tries to come back to Hart, the man who kicked it to him. Hart runs onto the ball now. Kicks it up towards half forward. Well played by McCartney, working in front. 29 to 39. Lions on top. McCartney down a half forward. Plenty of Lions there. Levitt goes back. It's going to be a free kick to the Kangaroos. Very lucky. It was 3-on-1. They won't be happy about that.
Looked like hip and shoulder stuff, didn't it?
Yep.
Well, it's their first free kick, so they've been pretty few and far between. It's 1-4 at this stage. Lions got early frees, but now it's settled.
White takes the mark. Ashcroft, Ackermanis playing with a lot of confidence. Huskis, right half back, the short one. Scott had to stretch. Good mark. Plays it back. Huskis on the overlap. Decides to go for a gallop. Abraham's got him. Dragged down. Managed to get boot to ball. Well played. Hitting the mark. Black. Lions looking very good. Black can run inside the 50. Line up and kick for goal. Well, the kick, not the equal of the earlier good work. Archer gets back and takes the timely defensive mark. Goes to Blakey.
Well, he'd be very disappointed with that lead, Matthews, because they had control of the ball. The forwards didn't lead at him. And Leppich almost, oh, it is a mark in fact. No forward came at him.
Jared Malloy made a big mistake. He just stood at the top of the goal square calling for it to be kicked up to him. He needed to lead and create an open goal square because Simon Black's a beautiful kick on that left foot.
Well, there's Durkay getting it to Longmire. Good kick by Longmire. Finds a young player down there in Kingsley. Scholl gets it back to Adam Simpson. Here's Ackermanis. Danger now because he's quick. He races away with it. A beautiful kick to half forward to Chris Scott. A low trajectory kick. No mark to Malloy. Can't get his boot to it. Still going on with it. Pickett and Archer are there. And Archer heads for the boundary line and puts it over. But that North defence is under enormous pressure. They're being bombarded down there.
They're copying it. They're standing strong now. I mean, they haven't got Mick Martin out there. They haven't got Martin Pike out there. So they're under immense pressure, and the Lions are testing him in that area by having numbers running hard into the forward line and just keeping the ball alive, being able to spin it out and keep it going.
Black was very good again. Simpson's kick, though, was marked by McKernan. He's on the wing. 6-3-4-5. Lions in front. McKernan, the centering kick. Scholl launched himself early, showing the judgment was Scott.
Been impressive in the air, hasn't he? Getting back to spoil at times and then being able to take a couple of excellent marks himself.
Good player. Across to Kennedy. Pickett in best position out there. Marks on his chest. Byron Pickett, left half back. Goes for distance down towards half forward. Top quality game this one. Huskis got rid of his man. Push out's the call. Kingsley forward of the wing. Centering kick, not a particularly good one. Slides off the side of the boot. Scholl almost. Bell dives in on top of it. Plenty of company and a ball up about 40 metres out from goal, directly in front of the Kangaroos, who are really being challenged now. Their winning streak very much on the line. On balance of play, the Lions looking much better, but they need to translate that to the scoreboard. Kangaroos masters of getting by on economy, and they make you pay. Here's a chance. Bell, 10 metres out. They get the goal.
Well, sometimes, Dennis, the players fulfill what you're actually speaking, and you were just speaking economy there, and you don't get much more economical than that. What it's about here is just getting the ball free there, and you see Simpson just gets up and thumps it clear into the space. Yeah, it just comes a foot race between all players then. Bell was quick enough. He read it. I mean, that's a very attacking move and a great result for the Kangaroos from that one.
Well, the Brisbane Lions can't shake off the Kangaroos. They only lead by 4 points. Terrific play by Simpson. Not a ruckman. He just jumped and thumped it 30 metres, and the bounce was kind for Peter Bell. Here's Keating. Well, he got his hands to it. Taken by Black. And he gets it to McRae. Now, McRae's a thumping kick. That is a beautiful kick. Malloy and Archer. Archer used his body to perfection. Great play by Archer. He won that man-on-man contest. And in fact, I thought Terry Malloy was in the better position originally.
Yeah, I think that the difference here is Malloy now trying to wrestle or couldn't get away in that particular contest. Early in the game, Malloy ran at the ball, took some marks out in front, judged it better, but now when Archer is able to get close to him, Glenn Archer will win more of those contests.
Stevens to Simpson. Simpson rode that beautifully. Oh, fantastic pickup here on centre wing. That was by the young player Kingsley. But here's Headland driving it long in towards the full forward area. Keating. Pickett. Oh, he did that beautifully. Pickett. Tremendous play. King got a little kick into it. Now Grant. Lappin's after him. Two promising young players. McRae is there. McRae dodging and weaving. Hooks it back on the left foot. Black underneath it. Couldn't mark. And is it a free kick? Now, what's the umpire? I didn't think he marked it. But he paid a free kick. Some hoots. Let's see what happens.
So here's the contest here. Watch Archer come in there. And
It came off Archer.
your guess is as good as mine. What he
There's
blocked out of that one.
no way known it's a mark.
No,
I couldn't see a free kick there.
I think it's paid a mark.
Oh, goodness me. But it's a kick from Black from 30 metres. The North Melbourne supporters are outraged, and he's kicked the goal. Well, that is a most controversial decision we have just seen, and Archer can't believe it. He's nonplussed.
Perhaps our field umpires and boundary umpires have become interchangeable because there's been pressure on the officialdom in the game today. A couple of boundary lines have been questioned, and here's this one here. Black gets first hand there. Archer gives a second flick, and I think that's what the umpire did not see. He didn't see the flick there from Archer back to Black for the mark.
Well, you'll take it however they come. 7-3-5-5. Black very impressive. 11 possessions so far. Play restarts. Keating with the backhand. Black charging it again. Voss got the hand pass away. This is Lynch. He's uncanny in the centre square. Simon Black for a young man. The kick comes down towards half court. Great courage. McRae running back with the flat of the ball. Now, he's normally a good finisher, and this could really hurt the Kangaroos.
You ought to thank his lucky stars it was Blakey coming. There were certain other players would have run right through him there, Terry.
They're getting it in there, aren't they?
Oh.
Johnny Blakey, he's an experienced head, and I'm not sure whether he pulled out. No way. But we're just looking in the 50s, though, Pete. I mean, the Brisbane Lions have been in there 27 times. The Kangaroos just 12. They're dominating play, the Lions.
McRae, good looking effort. It's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. The Lions doing very well.
They just keep coming up with the answers, don't they? They're a middle period in the first quarter where Malloy got a couple of goals and Champion got one that allowed them to kick away to an 11-point lead. And now they're continuing to build upon it. And their quick hands around the ground have been the most impressive. Johnny Blakey didn't come as hard as he could have done then. You're right, I would not perhaps have been as confident going back if you had Mick Martin or Martin Pike there.
Or Archer. Back to the centres, a handy little break now. Keating. Well, they're doing well at the centre bounces. Here they go again. Boss receiving from Hart, brought the ground up by calling play on. Oh, look at the effort by Boss. That was fantastic. And the umpire will come in and bounce it, but that second effort then is typical of Boss. He's already had 9 kicks and 5 handballs.
Just an incredible player, isn't he, Michael Voss? There's excellent tackle from Stevens. We've spoken about Stevens before, but there's the second effort, and you're taking on Anthony Stevens in second efforts. That's not a bad one to challenge. Voss wins that one.
At the base of the pack, Scholl and Hart, another whistle. Well, the centre square has virtually become a runway as far as the Lions are concerned. Longmire taking a seat. So Keating will be opposed to McKernan this time. McKernan steps in front of him, taps it down. That's better. Stevens hurriedly down to half forward. Smacked away by Lynch. Roving it was Harvey. Harvey gets the hand pass to King. King floats it well inside the 50. A lot of jostling. And Carey takes the mark on his chest. Virtually unsighted so far this afternoon, Wayne Carey.
It's a little bit like fielding at first slip, isn't it? You don't know when your chance is going to come. And Wayne Carey hasn't been in the play at all. And Matthew Kennedy just caught out just in that last piece of play there. Was bustling and shoving, but Carey just had the last say with a flick of the arm.
Important kick, resulting from his second mark. That looks pretty good. Or is it? No. Well, the goal umpire didn't move, but he obviously had it covered. Offline, off the boot.
He's another one you would back 9 times out of 10 from there, he and Scholl.
And Pete, I've heard you say that that's one of the skills that you believe haven't improved.
I'm certain of it.
But the thing is, what hasn't improved, I don't think, is the ability of players to manage the pressure that comes with having to kick a goal. That's where it's all won or lost. It's the control there.
Ashcroft, beautiful kick because it was to the advantage of Sean Hart, who's one of the fittest players in the team. Back to Ashcroft, bending it back. Blakey in front. Is that a mark? Oh, should have been a mark. Black gives it off. Gee, that was stiff. I would have paid that to Blakey. And I think the North Melbourne crowd would have, the Kangaroos crowd.
There's a couple in here, isn't there? Blakey goes back. That's clean hands. And as a result of the tangle of the arms from, I think it was Keating, it went to ground. Black goes back. Headland caught one high as well accidentally. He could also have got a free kick. He's quite willing midway through the second quarter.
Gee, the next goal's important here. And the crowd, the Kangaroos crowd still hooting the umpire. Now, what's happening here? David King's telling your teammate to get back on Darryl White. McKernan beaten to it, but Cray did well on the Lappin, smothered magnificently by Pickett. Oh, talk about skills that haven't improved. Let's talk about one that has improved, and that is the smothering. That was fantastic.
What it all comes down to, Pete, whether it's tackling, whether it's smothering, it's just your sheer intent. If you want to be able to stop the ball, you will. If you're committed at it, all these players want the footy just now.
So the margin 15 points and a free kick, I think, will go to Paul McKernan. And the fans of the Kangaroos very happy with that, albeit, in their opinion, belated.
And North Melbourne, the Kangaroos are about to make their 5th change in the last 5 minutes. And interestingly, one of the officials just sits at the boundary line, the runner's out, then he just loads up the cars from the 23 or number 35 or whatever off. So it's just a revolving door at the moment.
Like a pit stop.
Certainly is, Dennis.
There's McKernan out of the back pocket, driving play up towards the wing. Plenty of Lions there. Alistair Lynch. Great to see him back and soaring. He's marked right on the wing.
He's a better player in defence, in my opinion.
Lynch kicks inside the 50. McKernan goes up, takes the mark. Take that off him, they cry. McKernan out of the defensive 50, turned around, didn't look really, just bombed it away to the outer side. In trouble, Carey. Hand passes wide. Bell under pressure. White jumps over Bell, close to the boundary line. Great Shepherd. The kick comes down towards half forward. Champion has it. He's slung. Found the ball on the ground. Quick thinking. Slaps it out. Going through his Grant. Arriving quickly as White. And across the boundary line, it'll be tossed in. It's not a big crowd, but believe me, it's a very vocal one at the moment.
And the skills of Darryl White, and whether it's marking or picking it up off the ground, he's just uncanny.
And Team Ferrari are making their 6th change in the 6 minutes.
Here's Simpson bending it back. Oh, Lynch and Scott got in each other's way. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy's going for the long hand pass. It's a dangerous one because Ross was tapped. Caught. The handball's over the line. Good umpiring. Very good umpiring. He had no other choice in the handball that away.
And as you expect, the way the Brisbane Lions have played this score, they have not made one interchange.
They're playing confident football. Brett Boss on the black. Here's Harvey. He's very, very quick. Brent Harvey will drive it long. This is where North are dangerous. Carey is there, thumped away by Kennedy. Scholl caught in a tackle, and that was by Chris Scott, who was going in particularly hard across that half-back line.
Thought Lynch was a bit stiff there, interfered as the ball was in flight. Carey appeared to push him out of the way. Scott having a bit to say. Next goal pretty important here. Now it's about 35 metres out from the Kangaroos' attacking goal. McKernan backs in. Could have been pushed in the back. Lynch grabs it, kicks towards the outer side. Clayton's got the run of it, so the Kangaroos should put it back in. Although Voss is there and never count him out. Brilliantly done by Voss. Always aware of where the footy was. The deft hand just going in, locking it in. And he was happy with that result. Brilliant
Dennis,
stuff.
I don't want to harp on it, but 7th change in 7 minutes, and how can the team get any momentum doing that?
You'll be exhausted.
I am, actually.
So bounce on the outer side. White in front. Black comes over the top. A clash of the colours. Coming through there is Clayton. Hurriedly on the boot. It floats towards centre half forward. Rawlings had the run, but Lynch had the judgment. What a wonderful mark.
I'll repeat, I still think he's just a much better player down on that back line. Here's Scott on the Leppich, or he can go to Ackermanis here. That's good running by Ackermanis. Oh, he slipped over, gets in a quick hand pass. That was cleverly done. On the Lappin, on to Ackermanis. He runs inside 50. This deserves a goal. And it is a goal, a great goal. Well, what about that, Terry?
There's no doubt about it here. The Kangaroos are under the pump. Richard Osman's observation of the numerous interchanges that have occurred and the unsettling effect that they have on the side. I mean, traditionally, this second quarter is the quarter that the Kangaroos pile on the goals. They've done it more often than not, and here they are with only 1 goal on the board, and their opposition have gone and pumped on 4. This is a big question time here for the Kangaroos now.
These Lions are looking so impressive right now. 9-3-5-6. McKernan needs to get something happening inside the centre square. Up he goes, tries to direct it down. Stevens had it knocked away. Black, who manages every time almost to find the ball. In goes Bell, knocked over. This is Harvey, gets it to Durkay, slips a tackle. Sol Clayton into trouble, gets it across to Longmire. Longmire inside the centre square, comes out wide towards right half forward. Watch his left side. Grant looping hand pass. Scholl inside the 50. Scholl's kick is good, and the Kangaroos needed that goal.
A long time coming. It's their second goal for the quarter, but between those 2 goals, Brisbane Lions have put on 3, and they've been in total dominance of the game. This one comes from really not a good setup, because the forward handball from Grant's always a suspect one, and Scholl just through individual skill was able to straighten that one up and kick the goal. After a bad start, 3 behind from him early, he gets his first goal.
Denis Pagan looking on, be heartened by that goal. $15 points Brisbane lead by. North will hang in there. They'll keep fighting. Keating and McKernan. McKernan on the second go at it, tapped it down. Oh, Huskus dives on it, then is caught, and it'll be another bounce. But I mean, sometimes the Kangaroos ruckman has got his hands on it, but it's the Brisbane little players who are getting it out of the middle.
I mean, that's been the hallmark of the Kangaroos with Stevens and Bell and Simpson. I mean, they're in the top dozen players that are getting out of the centre bounce. Today it's been the Lions. Simon Black's been impressive, as Dennis has said. Gets his hand on the footy more often than not, can use it well. Here he is again.
Scholl working hard in that middle ground. Just a little bit slippery in that the cricket pitch area, as you can see. And
Denis Pagan, to try and stop the Riders, drop back John Longmire loose in defence around centre back area.
Yes, well, they've got to stem the tide getting towards half-time, because Brisbane were definitely on a roll. They're playing terrific football. There's McKernan getting it to Stevens. The race is on for the ball. Lynch went for a fresh. He missed it. Carey ran back into trouble, but a very clever hand pass. Smothered off the boot of Simpson. Terrific play by Brisbane. Chris Scott, now Ashcroft, now Kennedy. Kennedy drives long to centre wing.
Bell and Hart. Bell reaching over the top, knocked it away, taken by Stevens. Gains about 15 metres, got it to a man. Clayton to King. This is Grant. Grant about 65 metres out, twisting, turning, takes it to the 50. Long probing kick, back they go. White behind Durkay, off hands across the line. So the margin back to 14 points here.
And that's the skill that Shannon Grant brings into this Kangaroo side, just the ability to be able to kick from outside 50. More often than not, he'll drill those, but what was good was the defensive work of Darryl White. We've seen his fluky skills in marking. Today he's applying it to just getting his hand in and spoiling up the contest.
A long kick in is released Hart, running it down towards half forward. That's the second kick in this movement, pulling it back. Up was McCartney, couldn't control it. Cross, that's holding the ball surely. Play goes on. Headland snaps, kicks it behind. Well, I don't know. The umpiring this afternoon.
He's lucky then, wasn't he, boss?
There's no doubt. I mean, that's Richard Champion slow to get up, but when the tackle goes to ground here with the football, that's dropping the ball. There's no doubt about that one.
King kicks in meantime. It's all happening. Longmire feeds it wide to Archer. Richard Champion, it's almost in his contract, I think, to cut one of these a week. He was down last week on all fours for a while, but he's a feisty customer. Archer, meantime, to Stevens, who goes with the right foot down towards half forward. Going back, the good mark is taken by McKernan. McKernan to Welsh, running towards the attacking 50. High kick down towards full forward. The Lions have got the numbers. White miscued. Chance for Harvey. Dragged down about 15 metres out. And a ball up. Well, this game very much on the line now. Malloy limping after a clash of bodies just moments ago. Watch this one. They come from all directions.
Champion is coming off, Dennis.
Does it tough, Richard.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he doesn't look too good coming off. Jogging off very, very slowly.
And right in front of the Kangaroos' goals, Eustace caught by Durkay, held to him. It'll be
He was lucky there.
a bounce. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's a bad choice there from Adam Huskus to be able to take the ball like that. You're better off thumping it free, getting it out of their danger zone, because they're always going to hover on you. They'll take you.
So it's still in front as Simpson knocks it down. He was responsible for a goal earlier. Durkay, I should say, gets it to Rawlings. A quick snap at the goals, and he's kicked it behind. So they're hanging in there, the Kangaroos, I should say, when Brisbane really, on the play, you'd think they'd be 5 or 6 in front.
You would. And there's just another tip there to all AFL coaches. Just watch Adam Simpson in around the centre half forward, 30 metres out. He'll generally have a go at a ball up and try and whack it free into space.
White gets the ball to Lepich. That was a clever mark given the kick. Awkward one to mark, spinning on its side almost, but Lepich clean in the hands. Across half back, clock running down to half time. Lepich a long bomb towards half forward off hands. Headland dragged off the ball. It's going to be a north. No, it's not. It's going against Shannon Grant. Called a throw. So the kick is going to Picken. Picken from 60 metres out. Long down towards full forward. Malloy knocked away by Archer. Chance for Black. Close to the boundary line. Down goes the boundary up. He's on the ground. Down goes Archer. Over the top was Keating. Boundary umpire's back on his feet. We've got a whistle just inside the line.
Wonderful stuff all round. Just everyone eyes at the football. The umpire trying on the back pedal. Couldn't find the traction. Down he went.
Sinking feeling right there. Players showed a bit of compassion. Here's Black. Shrugs a tackle. Throws it on the boots. And I think he's kicked the goal. Marvellous effort. Right on the goal umpire. Now, it may have been touched, was it? Or was he going to get another kick?
I reckon it's a goal.
All clear. Show us. Beautiful.
Wow.
Class, Terry.
Oh, look, Richard Osman spoke to us about Des Headland at the opener and how impressive that Aussie had been with him. But Simon Black here today has really taken a step up. You know, he made his debut in round 1 last year and finished up with 9 games last year. But this year is just really starting to find a new level in his football. He's very classy and close. And just to be able to step out that left and kick that sort of goal, that shows you're a mark of a very good footballer.
It's a big goal, that one. Look at Stephen Lawrence in the middle there and Champion. They're very happy. 20 points they lead by. They both miss at the ruckman, but Keating gets it to Lappin. There's that quick kick gaining 20 metres. Boss. Good play to Black. Fantastic, Boss. Oh, might be a free kick against Archer here. To Malloy, yes. You cannot sling a man out of the contest. Malloy was slung out by Archer, and I really don't think he could argue with that one.
Well, You would have thought that Malloy would be the perfect opponent for Glenn Archer, because of just Archer's strength. He should be able to get into the front position and hold it. You're right there, Peter. When Archer didn't get the front position, he was forced into making something up, and what he made up was illegal. He grabs hold of Malloy and just slings him away.
Well, he's kicking for his fourth, and he's injured. He's definitely favouring a leg. It might be a corky. Let's see what happens with the kick. He's kicked his fourth. So a terrific contest going on down there in the goal square. Malloy, you'd have to say he's won it, because he's kicked 4 goals against one of the best players in the competition in Glenn Archer.
Yes, that's right. And he's carrying that injury as a result of a clash with his own teammate, Richard Champion, earlier. But there it is there. Malloy was the aggressor there, and he was leaning back into Archer and looking to do the old soccer scissors kick over the head. Where Archer fell foul was that he grabbed hold of Malloy at the same time and pulled him away. Ball passes by, but the umpire gives it the free kick.
So this margin now has galloped out to 26 points. Watch the centre square again. They're colluding and whispering. It was Keating and Hart. As the Rucks go at it, see, they worked it out again. Black down towards half forward, slapped on by Lappin inside the 50. He's going to get a free kick, Lappin. Everything falling into place for the Lions. They're playing irresistible football at the moment.
Wasn't a clever knock on. He knew if he had grabbed it, he would have been caught with the ball.
Black's like a magnet from the centre square. There's Malloy up ahead with Archer. Malloy's strength, as Terry said, really concerning Archer. Lappin prods it in. Now Boss has got it. The siren could sound before he kicks it. We've got less than 20 seconds to go. This time last year, he was nursing a broken leg. He broke it in round 11 against the Dockers at Subi.
Didn't they miss him?
Yeah.
A guy like that can, like he and Robert Harvey, guys like that can be worth 4 or 5 goals to a side of a Saturday.
Who was the guy who came up with the saying, a team is only as strong as its reserves? Obviously, he was intoxicated at the time. You lose a Michael Voss, you don't replace that sort of player. So Voss after the siren. Kicks from right on the 50. Didn't get all of it. In golfing parlance, he caught it a little fat. It's off to the right. No score. And it's half time.
What a wonderful opportunity for Glenn Archer just to make a final contact there with Malloy. He did it. He's had a tough time. The Lions forward line has been very good. Their midfield, their work around the centre bounce area. They've set themselves up extremely well. This is going to be a big call here for the North Melbourne Kangaroos to work back.
Indeed. Half time at the G. It's 11-4 to 6-8. The Lions on top. Goal kickers. I'll just mention
了，好了，好了。
So the winning sequence certainly in danger here. Half-time at the MCG, the Kangaroos trailing big time. They're down by 26 points. It's the Lions 11-4, the Kangaroos 6-8. 4 goals to Jared Malloy. He's been terrific, and 2 apiece to Champion and Simon Black. Well, St Kilda have lost their last 3 games. Richmond have won their last 2. Important game this afternoon. These two sides against each other at Waverley. Here are some highlights.
Important player to him, Sirakoski. Barry Hall on the long lead, he's got it.
And here's an ideal opportunity to kick the first goal of the game.
Well, he's kicked 24 goals for the season. He's a team lifter, and he's drilled it. The Campbell, 55 metres out, bangs the ball on towards the square. Clapp sets himself. Coming across from Tasmania, he's booted 4 goals for the season. He's only played the 13 games. He's directly in front, and from point-blank range, kicks a goal. Unhappy with the attention he's been getting. Free kick is going to Robert Harvey, so the game goes on, he goes short.
2 kicks and 5 handballs, and he's a very good midfielder.
Well, he's kicked 14 goals for the season. He's been a big improver. This is going right to the line. He's got it. If he wants to take the mark of the year over the top of him, well, so be it. But how many times can you take the mark of the year in a game?
No, you can't, especially with breezy conditions.
Ozzie Jones in game number 100. Racing into goal, should kick it from 25 metres out and bangs it through for the Satyrs. Taken by Ozzie Jones.
Who looks very dangerous. Centre wing, goes short, he finds Stewie Lowe. He's looking for Barry Hall. He's going to kick the ball long. It's going to be a race to the goal square. Here comes Thompson. He'll need a bounce. Gasper does well in the goal square. Kicked off the ground by Thompson. He's got it.
St Kilda and Richmond. Now replays are scheduled around the network. If you don't wish to know the score, I suggest you look away now.
Well, I get rattled every time we meet.
Saints and the Tigers, check your local guides. Time now for a Mitsubishi moment. Let's go back to the year of 1990 and John Longmire chasing 100.
See the 19-year-old kick 100 goals this afternoon.
1990, and North Melbourne's 19-year-old John Longmire was on the verge of history. In the last game of the year, he needed only 4 goals to become the youngest player to kick 100 in an AFL season.
Yeah, I kicked 2 goals 8 and only needed 4 goals from 100 goals, and unfortunately missed out on that, and it was very disappointing.
North had no chance of playing in the finals, so Longmire and his quest for the century had become the focus.
I mean, I had every chance. I think 3 or 4 hit the post, and it was just one of those days.
Longmire ended the season on 98 goals, but he won the Coleman Medal as the game's top goal scorer, was named All-Australian full forward, and won North's best and fairest. John Longmire, another Mitsubishi memorable moment.
John Longmire, no goals today. In fact, he started in the back pocket. 8 possessions to half-time, and at half-time his side are down by 26 points. It's the Lions on top, back with more right after this. It's Saturday football from the MCG, and the Lions are looking good half-time, and they lead by 26 points. Their margin was 5 points at quarter-time. It's 11-4 to 6-8. Jared Malloy has booted 4 goals. Well, back in round 10, Tony Lockett reached a milestone. If you'd like a memento, here's your chance. It's Plugger 1300, the video, the Tony Lockett story. Order now. There's the number 1-800-035-665, $29.95 for Plugger 1300. And speaking of records, it was a record. Now, I guess with the passing of time, it's a CD. Up there, Kazali, 20 years on. Here's Mike Brady and Haley White.
There's a lot more things to football than really meets the eye. There are days when you could give it up. There are days when you could cry. You either love or hate it, depending on the score. But when your team run out, only get the goal. How's the mighty roar? I'm there 'cause I
Probably his second best composition behind He's a Falcon for the West Perth Football Club back in the early 80s, but that's another story. What about the website, they say? Well, here's your chance, the AFL Online. The stories, the stats, the shopping plus live broadcasts, all there. There's the web address, www.afl.com.au. Check it out. It's halftime here at the MCG, and the Lions on top by 26 points. Back with more right after this. Oops, sorry, pardon me, I'm just reminiscing. The Brisbane Lions 11-4, the Kangaroos 6-8 at halftime at 70-44. And the lights are on. That would be a feeling of power. Hit the switchbacker, and they're on, eh? Aussie's down on the boundary. Aussie, what can you tell us?
Well, Dennis, it has got that feeling of Friday night football, hasn't it? The lights have just come on and feels like it's very late at night, quite dark. Both Lawrence and Champion, they're A-OK. I suppose it's a bit of a theory, a bit of a trend, I suppose, this week with the Brisbane Lions. Lee Matthews, the coach, hurt his shoulder playing tennis and he'll need a shoulder reconstruction. So his boys are a lot better off than him. They'll be fine, but interesting, isn't it? But what a first half of the Brisbane Lions, going on from their form last week up at the SCG. So tell you what, the North Melbourne team, the Kangaroos, they've got some worries, and I can't see them getting back at this stage.
Not on what we've seen so far. Anybody up here like their chances?
No, I mean, North Melbourne, they copped plenty early in the season, didn't they, from those 2 early fade-outs against Geelong and Sydney when they had 6-goal leads and lost those guys. Since then, they had closed it down, but this task here, I mean, their greatest second-half comeback this year has been from 19 points down in the SCG against St Kilda. Today, they're asking from 26 points. It's a big one. Archer there, he's gone to the forward line, and that's a little bit of the pinch-hitting type work that Denis Pagan throws in every now and again. I think it's a good move. Malloy had his measure, and we're keen now to try and pick up who has got Malloy back there in defence.
Interesting matchup there with Scott on Archer.
And Jason McCartney's gone back. So McCartney will just need to attack the football here.
Malloy has 4 goals, started the second half from the MCG. And the Kangaroos keep on winning. The Lions, of course, have other ideas. Keating knocks it down. Black again. Hand pass, though, instead of kicking. Harvey across to King. Back it comes to Stevens. Stevens long down towards half forward. Carey just the 4 possessions. 2 marks, 2 kicks, 2 hand passes. Voss, who's been terrific, dragged down that time. Stevens onto the loose ball, 60 metres out, pulls it back. Archer committed to that pack. They all fell over. In front, Grant bounces it through for a goal.
Okay, so they start to work their way back into it. But Simon Black for the Brisbane Lions, he gets first hand on the ball at the centre bounce, and he cleared 5 in the first half, but it was knocked down by Stevens, and that turned the ball the Kangaroos' way, which has been rare so far today. More often than not, their attacking moves have started from half back. They've come from the centre. Shannon Grant is just so elusive and creative across half forward, just skims it through.
20 points the margin, and that is just what North would have wanted. Here's McKernan trying to get it out. Well, they do go forward again. Adam Simpson, if they get another quick one, things have changed. That was Brett Voss. Kennedy's got the big job on Carey, and he's done it pretty well. Now, was that deliberate? No. He actually let it roll to the line. Carey not taking over this game, as we can often see him do, but when the side is down, that's often when he's dangerous. He can lift them. McKernan and Alistair Lynch. McKernan goes for the big thump. Boss waits underneath it. Oh, that was cleverly done. Brilliantly done by Boss to Sean Hart. Hart drives it to centre wing. And tapping it over the line was Nigel Lappin.
The starting benches for the second half: Durkay, Scott, Mooney and Rawlings for the Kangaroos, and Power, Lawrence, Clark and Picken for the Brisbane Lions.
Thank you, Aussie. So the ball on centre wing. 20 points is not a lot in modern day football. Voss again. Oh, he was caught very high in that tackle. And the umpire will bounce it.
Margin 20 points. Lions on top. Early going third term. A couple of warriors there. 2 of the best going around, Voss and Stevens. What a duel they've had this afternoon. Voss 18 possessions, Stevens 17. Lappin ran directly at Simpson, fell at their feet. The base of all of that is Brett Voss. Whistle, ball up.
Dennis just up in the forward goal square for the Kangaroos. Glenn Archer is up there now. His opponent now is Darryl White. And that's a good match because you wouldn't want to get into a body contest with Archer. And if anyone's going to jump that little bit extra higher or throw an extra arm into a contest, it's going to be Darryl White.
Voss with a fist, only as far as Abraham, who goes with the outside of the boot, plenty of elevation, but going back, Brett Voss, who played well against Sydney when he got his chance last week. He's at centre half back. Comes out wide. Ackermanis called out of it. Well done. Lappin drifting up. Takes the mark on his chest. Brisbane working it forward. Here's Black. He'll want his left side. Or will he? No, goes with the right foot. Kicks inside the 50, but the right foot kick not that good. Blakey going back. Free kicks at a premium this afternoon. Blakey gets one. He's in the back pocket.
And Dennis, the biggest Bronx cheer from the crowd after that free kick.
Blakey back towards the wing. The Lions outplaying them though. The supporters, the Lions really should get the credit from the Kangaroo supporters as the ball comes back towards the wing. McKernan almost caught it rather than marked at the hand pass. Ineffective. Goes again. Tries to get it across to Stevens. Knocked away there by Lynch. Coming through with Scholl. Scholl was checked and he'll get a free kick. It was taken high, or is it going the other way? Down the other way. Scholl was running back to take a kick, but Voss has been awarded the free.
So who's the tackler, who's the aggressor, or who just wanted the footy and all that one?
I think it was the right call if you're going to pay a free, but it was pretty soft as Ashcroft boots inside the 50. McCartney coming away nicely, kicking it back towards the wing. Scholl goes up, takes the mark, plays on immediately, gets it across to Simpson.
So Adam Simpson bombs it into half forward, and that's a very good mark by Shannon Grant, and plays on, trying to get onto his terrific smother by Michael Voss. Tapped back by Grant, and Grant copped it across the neck, and Shannon Grant will take the penalty kick.
But if I could, Brett Voss is the one here. He knows that Grant wants his left side, just worked it, and then laid the smother on. Wonderful stuff.
Well, the kick into the pocket to Carey, and Wayne Carey is marked, but he's on a very, very acute angle, and the Kangaroos captain. Look at the quick pass, a good low trajectory one, Terry.
Kicks it very well, doesn't he? And just out in front there, allowing Carey to be able to dominate the run onto the ball, not have to worry about his direct opponent in Leppich, just attack the footy and mark it like he did.
Well, he's only had 2 kicks. He's kicked 1 goal and missed a sitter, and they really do need this. It's out to the right and swinging back in, and it's a goal. So North Melbourne, the Kangaroos, I should say, are coming back. They're now only 14 points down, and, well, they're right back in it.
They've pulled it back in, and the catalyst has been Shannon Grant. He got the first goal of the quarter, get them going, and then takes this very good mark at half forward, working the ball around, and then being able to hit Wayne Carey, who fulfilled it with a good kick for his second goal.
So the Kangaroos looking better, 11-4-8-8. The Lions slow starting in this third term. As we said, lights on. It's very gloomy. Black in trouble. Abraham juggles it, knocked off it. This is Clark. Haven't seen a lot of him. Wrestled down by Simpson. Picked up eventually by Clayton. Lays it off to King. The ball is coming back.
Yep, there was a holding free kick there, Dennis. As Headland was in there trying to kick the ball off the ground, sees his right wrist there being held by Shane Clayton.
Plays on immediately, kicks it long into the forward line. McCartney goes back and concedes a behind. Angled fist on that one.
Already McCartney looks better back there against Malloy, and McCartney's been prepared to meet the ball. Charged one down a few moments ago and cleared the area. If he can do that rather than standing and wrestling with Malloy, he'll do a lot better than Arch did early in the game.
King does well, gets the ball quickly. Low trajectory kick to McCartney. He's at left half back. So the margin, 15 points. This game's still up for grabs as McCartney kicks it towards the wing, helped on its way by Scholl. Ackermanis onto the loose ball on the wing, hand passes back towards the middle. Hitting it hard was Grant, left it behind, going through was Clayton, and Voss, that's Brett Voss, was taken high.
Brisbane getting plenty of free kicks, but they're getting in after the ball. Brett Voss gets it to Malloy. Now Malloy's playing on quickly. That's a very, oh no, it's gone wide. The idea was right to put it out in front of Leppich, but well, what's Carey doing way down there? He's probably followed his man.
He's chasing Leppich, and Leppich did this a couple of times last week on the SCG, playing at centre half back, getting down the ground. He kicked 2 goals, so the play was good. Just the kick from Malloy wasn't what he wanted.
So the kick towards half back, almost a free kick to Clark. Oh, he did well, the big fella, and drives it low. They're the good kicks into the forward line. That's either a free kick or a mark. No, Gee, I thought he was caught around the neck region. Carey just pushing off Scott as Abraham. Abraham bends it back. Archer and Eustace. He's sandwiched Archer. Eustace still going on with it. Eustace. Harvey was after him. Brent Harvey gains about 30 metres. A tunnel ball job though. Here's Craig Scholl on the Blakey. Gee, if North get one here, they're going to be very, very dangerous. Still a chance. Kangaroos, as we see, a hand pass from Archer, come to the young player in Kingsley, who kicks a goal and he's missed. Oh boy, he had have kicked that. They're coming at Brisbane North.
Yep, they certainly are. They're charging at the Kangaroos. But Brisbane, they've got it up into their forward line a couple of times. They've had the opportunities. But North, the Melbourne Kangaroos, really now on a surge. They know the importance of the early part of this third quarter.
Beautiful kick in. Voss should have got a 3-0 doing. Simpson, Abraham, Voss comes again. Didn't need a free. Charging around the other side. It's going to be a free kick to the Kangaroos. Coming back to Abraham. Well, suddenly now the umpires, after almost putting the whistles away in the opening half, are really getting involved.
The free kicks were at half-time, 4 to the Kangaroos, 9 to the Brisbane Lions. They're 3-3 at this particular stage.
Hard to see why that was a free.
Yeah, looked soft, didn't it?
Abraham inside the 50. Eustace won't clinch, but over the top. McKernan too tall and too angry, as it turns out.
Just that last metre on the approach to the ball here from Corey McKernan is as aggressive as we've seen him all day. There is just that surge forward and the big hands up. Eustace thought he could get enough back onto it, but couldn't. McKernan just too tall. He knows his form is a real key to the Kangaroos' performances.
When he landed, those ears were smoking. 57-71. McKernan. One of the biggest kicks of the game so far. It's bending around nicely left to right. Splits the middle. Back on the Kangaroos.
An 8-point ball game. They have really come out. The MCG lights were turned on at half-time, and Denis Pagan found something to turn on the Kangaroos. I think they do prefer to play at night, and so that illusion now is starting to come on over the players. They've kicked the first 3 goals of this quarter. McKernan now has 2 and looking a lot angrier.
Well, the Kangaroos are proving what a great side they are. They're now only down by 8 points, and they've improved their work rate here in the centre square area. Here's Clark. Now King. Bell. Peter Bell hooks it back to the half-forward area. Oh, look at the mark. McKernan again.
That's a contender.
Oh, he hung in the air, and he is trying to lift this Kangaroo side. If it kicks this, they'll only be down by 2 points.
Well, he is lifting. Look at this jump. Up he goes, and there's no doubt that is a contender for the mark of the round, and if not the year. His whole demeanour has changed from the half-time break. I'd suggest by looking at his face that Denis Pagan was quite pointed at half-time as to who he wanted to lift from. And the look and the finger would have been directed straight at this man, I suggest.
There's a camera angle. He's a beautiful kick, McKernan. Right through the middle of his third. So the Kangaroos, look at their supporters now. This game has just changed completely. Brisbane now only lead by 2 behinds.
Just quick work out of the centre. Bell carries it on down, but just watch the jump here of McKernan. Had to sit all the way. As if he's not a big enough man as it is. He's able then to get another 1.5 metres up off the ground, stretch the arms up, and complete a very good mark. 2 goals in this third quarter.
Corey McKernan, 3 goals so far in the game. And look at the Kangaroos, less than a goal in it now. McKernan setting up that last goal as he gets the ball across to Simpson with a Cadbury's mark of the year contender. Terrific effort across half forward. This is Voss, the man who had to stand underneath McKernan. Ashcroft across to Kennedy. Well, at least that way you make the posters. The high kick down towards the wing. Blakey showed a lot of courage. and he'll get the free. Bearing down was Black. Advantage is paid. McCartney comes away. Kicks it up towards half forward. Watch out for Carey from behind. No mark taken. Voss again. Got it away to Ackermanis. Voss with great courage. That's Brett Voss diving in there, and he ties it up. So that young man on the ground is making an impression. The lesser known of the Vosses. Bounce inside the attacking 50. Suddenly the lead is gone. Grant worked out of it. Spills wide. Stevens 52 metres out. High kick. A chance here to mark and take the lead. McKernan had bounced away from him. Cast in the role that time of a rover. Loose ball, it spilt. It was running towards the line, so was he, but he couldn't reel it in.
He read the play so beautifully, Dennis, that when it came out to half forward and the Kangaroos won it, one of their left footers, he just took off towards the goal square. He knew that the play then was going to have the ball tossed up high around that area, and the way he's marking the football just at the moment, why wouldn't he get down there and have a go at it?
Lepic brings it in. Oh, good mark, Simpson. Adam Simpson. He kicked to a pack, Lepic, and Simpson was the man who took the strong mark, a long kick in towards the half-forward area. Ackermanis receives a hand pass. He drives it wide now. Whereas they were kicking with pinpoint accuracy earlier, all of a sudden with the extra pressure, they're making a few skill errors, Brisbane.
And it's quite a bit of pressure, isn't it? Kangaroos have come out and just poured it on top of the Lions. Lee Matthews set this game up as a mini-final for his side because the big contenders have been Kangaroos, West Coast and Essendon. They've already lost to those latter two. They needed to get one here, so they've all pitched to do well. This, the way the Kangaroos have come back, has put the Lions into finals football.
Well, the Kangaroos in this squad, there's the Kangaroos bench. You can see Gary Durkay over the back. But they are tackling ferociously. He's given them a real rev up. You can tell that Denis Pagan has. There's Black. See the way he's shoved off the ball there by Stevens. Again, they go for this time through shoulder. One-on-one. Huskus. Carey running back with the flight of the ball. And we said earlier, when he is down, he's got the capability of lifting himself and being a match winner.
Well, Adam Huskus, he does everything there to get Kingsley out of the way, but then he can't count on the other man coming. And was he coming? Carey just bearing down on the football, straight at it, wraps it up in the big arms.
Well, this will put them in front if he kicks this goal. There's a great camera shot from behind Carey as he puts it through the middle. 3 goals to the captain.
Well, under siege is the Lions' defence now. In the first half of the game, it was the opposite way around. The Kangaroos had to defend grimly and were 26 points down at half-time. But all of a sudden, the Kangaroos' centre line has started to win a lot of football. They've turned the centre bounces around their way, getting it forward, and blokes like Carey McKernan there to finish it off.
Well, how about this? The Kangaroos in front, 5 goals in the term. Brisbane goalless. 2 to McKernan, 2 to Carey. The cream rising to the top. Down goes McKernan. Black in there again. You'd like to go prospecting with him. He knows where to go. So a ball up alongside the centre circle. Exciting young player, but at the moment, his side is being overrun. Terrific effort by the Kangaroos. Lions need to steady here. Carey now 4 marks. He's booted 3 goals. McKernan goes up and knocks it forward. Simpson spins out of trouble. Hurriedly onto the boot. Carey once more held by the arm play. Goes on. White comes away. Kicks it across the goal face out towards right half back. Taken by Ashcroft. It's 2-on-1 up the ground and storming past his young Power. Power steadies. Little chip. Man in the middle, McRae slipped over, and not the King to come charging through. Takes it, hit the ground running. Up was Kingsley, fell in front. The hand pass comes across to Stevens. Stevens dragged down. Still he goes. Stevens close to the line. Hand passes towards the goal face. Taken there by Power. Goes in short to Lepic. Hardly the 10 metres. Grant chases. He was the man who set it up with the initial hand pass. Around the outer side, this is Hart. 15th possession for him. He's averaging 17 this year, down from 21 last year. McRae kicks to half forward, spears the pass in, and the mark is taken by Pagan.
Yes, and they need a goal here, Brisbane. Pagan drives it to a one-on-one contest. Is it a mark? It is to Lynch. Oh, not paid. Lynch thinks it's his mark. The umpire's going to call this out. He marked that ball. That's a poor decision.
Well, Lynch has got the good position. It's all his hands. I don't think Tom Longmire reaches over there, but umpire Chris Mitchell, when he saw it fall out the bottom there, that's when he deemed it not to be a mark.
Well, here's Voss. They needed something. They need something really good and quickly, because the Kangaroos are coming at them. There's Welsh getting it to Stevens. And all they were, whereas in the first half, those little gives, those little hand passes were all Brisbane, Terry. Now the Kangaroos, and Lee Matthews looks a worried man.
Well, when we look at that last goal, it was right at the end of the second quarter, and it was Jared Malloy who got it, and they went out to 26 points in front at that stage, but the Kangaroos have just surged back into the game with 5 goals.
There's Lappin, 55 metres out. High, long kick, a good effort from there, hit the post. Kangaroos have had a couple.
So there's 2 tasks here for Lee Matthews and his Lions. One is to stop the run of the Kangaroos, and you need to do that by manning up, locking down on a particular opponent, taking him on, defending when you have to, but attack when you can. Then they need to be able to wrest control of the game and start to get the scoreboard ticking over for themselves. First stop the Kangaroos, then get the scoreboard going.
King directly up the middle, going back. Simpson dropped it. Black, little chip pass inside the 50, coming over the top. McRae, Voss trying to find a way through. He's claimed, but a ball up about 40 metres out from the Lions' attacking goal. They trailed by 4 points, and what an awesome display of raw power from the Kangaroos to open this term, as if they turned on the tap at half-time. There's the bounce. McKernan hooks it down. Brilliant pick up by Black. Weaves back onto his right foot. Prods it down towards full forward. Lynch appeared to be held there as he approached the ball, but the mark is taken by McCartney.
Yeah, a wide hand pass to Bell. Bell kicks to a space. Now the bounce is important here. It slips through the fingers. This is Brett Voss. Going to get back to Lappin. Onto Black, has been very impressive. Onto his left foot, he drives in towards full forward area. Top hands, King. It's at the Blakey. Lepic in front, was shoved out of it by Scholl. As the umpire let that go. So Scholl's got it. He drives with a wobbly looking kick. Eustace did well to trap that. Well done, Adam Eustace. He's got to get it out. He does to Kennedy. Oh, terrific kick by Kennedy to Scott under pressure. Out wide is Lepic. Now Lepic can run and give it over the top. He does so to McRae. McRae slipped. Oh, he slipped again. I wonder what boots he's got. As he brings it into the pocket, it's a poor kick, and the mark has been taken by Welsh. But that slipping over was costly then.
It was. McRae was out, and he needed to keep going. What he wanted to do is get back onto his left foot. You've got to have more confidence in your own ability on your non-preferred side.
Welsh out of bounds on the full. Voss another possession. His 22nd plays on. Long kick, well inside the 50. Big pack at the drop. Welsh over the top, got a fist on it. Down in front, Harvey. Slips away from Power. So Harvey decides to run. One bounce. At half-back, kicks it up towards the wing. Carey in front. Good grab. Showed a bit of it to Huskus, who was closing. Oh, sucker punch, eh? Carey's got it on the wing.
And Adam Huskus blowing the kiss too. That was nice.
Aussie reporting everything that needs to be reported. Kingsley's got it, 60 metres out, pulls it back across the body. They contest about 30 metres out. White, almost a clever mark, nothing doing. And a bounce 40 metres from goal then.
I thought he marked that.
Marks are hard to come by this afternoon.
It's a big attempt, isn't it?
Oh, a bit stiff.
First off, he was there just to sort of spoil from Glenn Archer, because he dropped his eyes down and had a look where Archer was, but then up and the ball was in the hands.
Simpson missed it. White to Voss. Voss boots it towards half forward. McCartney. Nicely done. McCartney. Forward of half back up towards the wing. Goes for distance with a kick. Inside the 50 at the opposite end and in from the side. White. Oh. That's a mark. Gee. Good grab. Across to Huskus. He decides to run it away. Chips it across the ground, close towards the boundary. Kennedy running out of space, brings it back inside. Ashcroft, the man bearing down. Ashcroft gets away though, held it like a loaf of bread. Ashcroft up towards half forward with a kick. It's all Kangaroos there. Missed in the air though, and as a result, King's got a problem. Held Black without the ball. McRae gives it to Voss. Voss with class, pulls it back with the left boot, and the Lions are back in front.
Well, it is really heart-in-the-mouth stuff with the Lions, isn't it? Out of the back there, Adam Huskus was the first player coming out. He virtually had nowhere to go. So they transfer it back inboard through Ashcroft. Again, as Denis Pagan called, it was all Kangaroos then. But all of a sudden, the Lions surged upon the ball, and Michael Voss just sheer class there to be able to finish it off on the left foot.
Well, a very emotional Lee Matthews, and he'd be pleased with what he saw then. Simon Black maybe should have received a free kick for holding, but the class of Michael Voss on the left foot, what a magnificent finish that was. Here's Stevens working hard, but the Brisbane
that's wonderful. Black, Simon Black,
fantastic. Out it comes to Power. Power drives low in towards half forward. Oh, Voss is marked. Oh, brilliant mark. And this champion player is lifting himself as Carey did at the other end.
And McKernan.
Yep, Carey and McKernan for the Kangaroos. Both got 2 goals in the second quarter. And Michael Voss has gone forward. And Lee Matthews is backed in here. He's put his best player up where they need to get the result from, and that's right in front of goal here.
Good coaching by Lee Matthews as Voss kicks for his second in a minute, and he's got it. There is no substitute, Terry, for class.
No.
That's what he's got.
And why Lee Matthews can put Voss up there is just the way in which Simon Black's playing. His last win of the ball here, it just worked Stevens all the way there. He was never going to allow him to go. And then, while going to ground, fed the handball, created the run of power from behind, and then on into the forward line, and Michael Voss does the rest. But the centre bounce working so well just for the Lions. Under pressure from McKernan earlier, they've now got some control back.
Well, it's like a celebration of football at the moment. The marquee names are shining. There's one of them, McKernan, slaps it down. Grant had it knocked away by Black. That was clever play again. We keep singing his praises, but he really has a feel for where the ball is and what it's going to do. So deft, it almost goes unnoticed there. If we saw that again, you'd see the ball bouncing. The player had the run of it, and suddenly Black just sliding that hand around and just deflecting it to his own advantage.
Dennis, I just see parallels with Scotty West from the Western Bulldogs, and Scotty played a lot of basketball as a junior, and you just wonder just the way in which Simon Black is handling and touching the football, whether there's a background there as well.
I'll find out. There's Pickett, 55 metres out, gets it across to Scholl. Scholl lines up, slides it across the face. It's a behind. Despite the efforts of Carey, a rise mark from Kennedy. Lions ball, and they're back in front by 7 points. So often you see this situation, a team makes up a lot of ground and then stops, and the team they were chasing can pull away. Kick up towards the wing. McKernan. We spoke about McKernan, Voss and Carey, all bringing something to the table now, making their presence felt in what's been an outstanding game of football. Carey offers a lead. McKernan goes in that direction. In from the side, Archer. Almost the mark, almost found it on the ground. Scott grabs it, clears the zone. Puts it back towards the wing. Going back, McKernan fell over. Knocked forward by Keating down towards right half forward. Blakey's got the run of it. Voss is right there breathing down his neck. And that's enough for Blakey, who heads straight for the boundary line. You don't tempt fate with number 3 right behind you.
No, and Blakey, very experienced player. He made sure that went towards the boundary line. Looks like he is picking up Voss. We'll just watch him for another couple of minutes now. McCartney to do the ruck work with Keating. No, they all really missed that. Here's Lappin. That's good play to gain about 40 metres with that quick kick. Longmire got it down the ground. Here's Sean Hart. He gets the ball onto his boot quickly. King will head for the line. You can bet on that. And he does. And it's in the back against Alistair Lynch. The umpire has deliberated.
It's good to see Steve Lawrence for the Brisbane Line come back on the ground.
Thanks, Ozzy. And we echo those thoughts. Stephen Lawrence, he's a tough nut. This is Welsh. Scott Welsh in the back pocket. Drive it towards a half-back area. Keating sets himself, couldn't quite get to the contest. Scott crashes his way through. Here's Ashcroft. Should be centering it. He is. Bends it back. Some good use of the body. Here's Black, who's very, very clever. Knocked over into Champion. Now that was Lawrence, who's just come on the ground, and Champion has missed, but a clever play by Lawrence.
Richard just couldn't keep up with the young kids just there, could he? I mean, Black and Lawrence just find two young footballers. The handball over from Black floated a little bit. Lawrence knew he was going to be under pressure if he took it in his hands, and the flick on out there to Richard Champion.
Just needed the finish. That is the sort of goal that can demoralise an opposition.
Well, they've done well, Brisbane, because they're under siege, and yet they've been able to come back again, Dennis.
King towards half-back. Scott launches himself from behind. Simpson down in front. Ackermanis over the top. Black again. That's a tired kick. Out of bounds on the full. 85-77. Kangaroos trailed by 26 points at half-time. Fought back to lead. And now the Lions have regained the lead. 51 seconds to three-quarter time. They're set for a big finish on Saturday football. King out of defence. Sends it back towards the wing. Well, McKernan was up very early. Camped in front is Harvey. Prods it towards the line. Scholl comes across and knocks it out. Clock stops. 42 seconds. Craig Scholl. What a fine footballer he's been over the years in a variety of roles. Started as a wingman. Keating and McKernan. McKernan props in front. Was that a push in the back? Nothing doing. Bell comes away. Sends it down towards half forward. Two Lions were up. Left a man on the ground. But they recovered quickly. They fight on down there. Eventually the ball comes across to Power. Well played by Boss. Kick inside the 50. Up comes Longmire. Sliding. He's got a great record against Brisbane. 3 times he's booted 8 goals in a game. And once he got 7. We'll take a good kick from here. There's Carey. We're down to 8 seconds. 77-85. Wait for the siren. Carey almost. In front, Black once more. And there's the siren for three-quarter time. And the Kangaroos looking for their 10th straight victory. Like a good side responded. They were challenged by the opposition, and you get the feeling they were challenged by their coach at halftime. You don't win 9 on the trot in the AFL if you turn it up, and they certainly came back hard and strong at the Brisbane Lions. So at three-quarter time, the Kangaroos really have made it a game now. Denis Pagan, who took over from Wayne Schimmelbusch at the start of the '93 season, and every season since he's taken them to the finals, sees his side down 85-77. Well, it's a top game, deserving a big finish. Hopefully we get one. You'd think so from here. The Brisbane Lions on top, 13-7-85, but the Kangaroos working back into it, 11-11-77. Aussie is down on the boundary as Lee Matthews talks to the Brisbane Lions. Lee Matthews, who led Collingwood out of the wilderness back in 1990. Oz?
Yes, well, certainly was a great quarter there for the Kangaroos. They showed their class. Shannon Grant and Corey McKernan were the obvious two that really stepped it up, and it showed on the scoreboard. But for the Brisbane Lions, credit to them, they did kick back and they find themselves 8 points in front. The catch cry around the huddle at three-quarter time was that we're the best team in the competition, so it's good to see a bit of positive reinforcement. The Lions obviously think they're a good chance, and they are a good chance. They're still 8 points in front, but don't discount the Kangaroos. They are coming home a bit.
Yes, the stage is set. You couldn't draw it up any better. The challenge is in front, with the Kangaroos flexing their muscle after half-time, Terry.
Certainly were, Dennis. So when we spoke about Carey and McKernan, just their influence in the first half of that third quarter was quite significant. McKernan in the ruck was getting his hand to the ball, and they started to win centre bounces. Then he'd float forward. He's kicked 2 goals in that quarter. Carey, undeniable, and may not be his game, but it can be his moment, and he's quite prepared to live that philosophy and throw himself into the fray. 2 goals to him in that third quarter. Kangaroos getting the first 5 and looking totally in control with it, and you're wondering where the Lions were going to get back into it. What Lee Matthews went and did, he threw his best player in Michael Voss up forward. He can do that now because of the form of young Simon Black. He continued to get a lot of football. He won 10 possessions in that third quarter, did Black, getting it on up to Voss, who capped it off with 2 good goals.
Simon Black has had 26 possessions, and not many of them easy. Voss 24. And for the Kangaroos, Stevens, after that war with Fraser Brown on this ground last week, has had 22 possessions, had 28 against Carlton.
Dennis, that was a very long three-quarter time addressed by Denis Pagan. They've gone well over the allotted time for coaches there. You can see the coaching staff now just running off on the outer side. He wants to win 10 in a row. There's no doubt about it. Their role has been going for a long time. In fact, going to today's game, they'd won 20 of their last 24 games. From round 14 last year, they won their last 9 home and away games. 2 finals against Essendon and Melbourne, then went and lost the big one, the grand final, after leading by 3 goals at half-time against Adelaide. So they've been up a long time. Dennis won't let this go easily.
Just get the feeling with the players they've got still to come back into this side, the Lions, they can really serve notice this afternoon. They deserve to be mentioned amongst the big boys of this competition. If they can win at the MCG, they've got their chance right here. They've been wonderful today. Can they push on? Start of the final term. McKernan and Keating both playing out of a crouch. Great bounce too. Keating goes over the top and slaps it down. Simpson through his legs, coming through his black once more. Meant by Abraham that time.
But as you said earlier, Dennis, it's amazing how young Simon Black just gets his hands on it all the time. It just shows his reading of the players just so good.
Great trait to have, isn't it? Well, I believe it. It is. I've only heard about it. Down goes Keating. Out to Champion. Hurried kick towards half forward. Lappin thumps the ball on its way inside the 50. Taken by Lawrence, falling to the ground. Got the hand pass away. Black looking for Voss. Too much carry. Pickett comes away. Gets it across towards Abraham. Abraham up towards the wing. Grant is there. Didn't have the ball. Voss onto him again. That's Brett Voss. Scott trying to crash his way through. Held up by McKernan. Coming through his heart. Gets it across to Champion. Confronted. Looping hand pass over the top. Brett Voss once more. Pulls it down towards half forward. Plenty of Kangaroos there. Bad luck for McRae. Almost bounced for him. Coming through is King. King in the opposite direction. Then McKernan launches himself. Couldn't hang on. This is Harvey. Slick one. Got it across to Simpson. But not the first time. As Simpson in the centre. Simpson and Harvey together at the MCG. Offhands attack Ackermanis. Ackermanis towards the outer side. Now a chance for the Lions. Lappin in space. Back to Power. Bad decision. Went back to Lappin. Decides to take them on. Almost got through. The kick though affected by the tackle. McCartney goes back and takes the mark.
Yes, they mucked around with it then. Brisbane. McCartney drives to centre wing. Blakey underneath it. And that's a very good one grab mark. He immediately gives it off to Glenn Archer, who's had a very, very quiet day. He drives in towards Carey. Brett Boss goes in front of Carey. Kennedy was there to double team the Kangaroos captain, and he locks it in. It'll be a bounce. 8 points to margin, and it's up in front of the Kangaroos goal.
But I was just going to acknowledge Brett Voss. I thought his game today has been very good. He's been prepared to work in at the contest, throw his body in at all times. I've been most impressed with his application to his game today.
Keating with a back flick. He gains about 30 metres, but unfortunately for him, Abraham has got it. He's caught. It's in the hand pass to Scholl. Scholl has a pot shot at the goals. It's off the side of the boot. And Darryl White couldn't quite hang on to it with his outstretched fingers. He's done a couple of brilliant things today, as usual, Darryl White. Lee Matthews there. Well, he'd have mixed feelings at the moment, but he knows he's coaching against a very, very good side here. Here's Black again onto Leppich. Two players that are going to be around for a long, long time. Blakey back with the flight. That's a very, very good mark for Johnny Blakey. He's way out at half forward. He can bomb it up and hope for one of those high markers to take it. Here's one of them, McKernan. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Racing in is Simpson, gets his boot to it and kicks it behind.
John Blakey, you really got to acknowledge him, don't you? I mean, 33 years of age. Known in Craig Bradley, who runs out for the 300th time this weekend, played more games than John Blakey, and he plays it at a consistently high level in that defence. We spoke about how Martin and Pike are both missing out of the defence of the Kangaroos. Archer, we've acknowledged, had a quiet day, so it's belonged to Blakey and McCartney to hold the side together back there. They're still under siege, but they're able to turn it back offensively when they get the opportunity.
Kiskis out of the back pocket. Driving play around the outer side. Down goes Carey, almost controlled it too. Ricochets off the boot of McRae. Scott was taken high. And he'll get the free kick. Tough hombre. Scott from right half back. Sends play up towards half forward. Lawrence under the ball. Runs loose at the back. Stevens close to the boundary line. Knew that. Slides it out.
Bench for the Brisbane Lions: Lynch, Clark, Headland and Picken, and for the Kangaroos, Scott, Mooney, Clayton and Brady Rawlings.
Been a wonderful game all day long. Lynch looking on. Stevens ran into a dead end supplied by Lawrence, who came crashing in. Well, he was flattened early in the game. Good to see him back. Knows no other way but straight ahead. His dad played on this ground in the 71 grand final. 85-78. Keating bracing himself. The big men lock up again. McKernan thumps it wide. Was that high? I think so. Voss umpiring as he went down. He's going to get the free kick. Well, today perhaps they've needed some help. Voss, watch it again. No doubting that left arm was high initially. On the outer side, McRae. Wide-eyed McRae from 60 metres. Kicks it long. Malloy works his way in front. Pickett hit the pack hard. Down in front, Abraham. Spills across to Durkay. Durkay played it well. Across the goal face. Grant has it now. Kennedy played it pretty well, did he? Yes. Tied it up just long enough. He was living on the edge. Grant likewise with that kick. Blakey made it look okay. On the wing down towards half forward. Scott backed himself against the ball. Well played. Full-blooded. Kicks it down towards half forward. Waiting for it, Abraham. Bounces for Pickett. Pickett feeds the ball into the path of a couple. Grant running through the centre square in trouble. That's holding the ball. Lappin got him dead to rights. Now Powers away.
Yeah, great tackling Power into Malloy. Down towards half forward and Leppich. Leppich hooks it back in front of goal. Lawrence went in hard against Welsh. It's a loose ball. McRae is there. Now Leppich trying to get it back. Smothered off the boot. And over the line it goes. 20 metres around the behind post.
Kangaroos very good. Stephen Lawrence, he needed to have got his hands to the football here. The other kick there just prior to it, Lawrence went to kick it around his body when he should have taken it by hand.
Well, here's Keating, did well to McRae. McRae still going on with it. He can't quite pick it up. Kicked away by David King to the wide open space. It's an important ball here. Ackermanis and Harvey. Ackermanis did very well. Lappin's got two to beat. He knocked it on. but they've lost it to Blakey. Blakey tackled. How will the umpire see that? And probably the right decision in the end.
I think either one would have been right. Pushing the back was there, holding the ball was there, so he's gone either way. Here it is there. That's in the back. There's no doubt about that. And Blakey looking longingly up to the umpire for something, but nothing doing.
The quick kick comes down towards half forward. Archer, oh, look at Voss. That was fantastic. To Scott and Leppich, a bit of talent there. As we see Leppich coming through the middle, will he bounce in the mud? He gives it off. It's a poor handball by Leppich. Gives it straight to Pickett. And this rebound might cost them a goal because McCartney's got it. He can run around. He will. He ran a long way. Drives it to a one-on-one contest. Carey and Kennedy. Carey, can he grab it? The big fella's got it. Gives it back to Durkay. What can he do? He has a set shot. Oh, he's kicked the goal. And Terry Wheeler, one poor hand pass up around the centre by Leppich has cost them a goal.
Yeah, Justin Leppich. It was a forward handball that was going to give to a person who had to be able to turn around and kick for goal. Leppich was running towards the goal. He was the kicker. Kangaroos, they never mess around with a chance, and then it comes. Carey does the right thing, feeds back, but then just so coolly, calmly does Durkay settle over this and slide it through.
What do I say about knowing your own limitations? Gary Durkay thought about it and thought, well, I haven't got any. And kicked it from deep in the pocket. Simpson down towards half forward goes the kick. 2-on-1 situation. Bell played it brilliantly. Knocked it across to Grant. Grant runs inside the 50. This for the lead. The Kangaroos in front. Oh, you're kidding. You are kidding.
I'd like to see a replay of that.
That appeared to be at least a metre over the line. We're a long way from it, as they say. That old cliche, the umpire is a lot closer than us. Scott gets a hand pass to Ashcroft. Ashcroft from the wing towards half forward. Lawrence has got it now, cruising past his heart. Well done, it's on again. Great defence, stifled the hand pass. It was King. Applies a tackle on McRae. Picked his pocket, tried to break away. Voss dragged him down, in went Lawrence. Tried to crash through was Ashcroft. Picked up by McRae. McRae gets it to Hart. Hart tried to kick the miracle goal. Bending back. Up in defence goes Longmire. Longmire and Malloy, and the ball is out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Well, watch this again. Well, if that's not across the line...
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe camera angles are... He had a great view of it, the goal.
He did.
Didn't it look... Just shows you how angles can be distorted.
To whom? McRae kicks across the line. Archer landed across the line.
Be that as it may, what a wonderful piece of football it's been in the last 3 minutes of this match. The Kangaroos surging forward, right on the line. They're turned back and the Lions whip it down. Players just throwing themselves in. If Lee Matthews wanted to construct an MCG mini final for his side, he's got it here this afternoon.
Oh, what a terrific mark by Leppich under pressure too, Terry, in that pack. And with a point the margin, if Brisbane can go forward and sneak a goal, it would be invaluable. He sets it up at the top of the square, hoping someone can take a mark. Pickett is there. Went for the defensive punch. A little fumble by Stevens. Grabbed by McCartney. Smothered off his boot. Some strong tackling allows the McRae to grab it. He kicks long. A one-on-one. Oh, touched right on the line. Was that McKernan going back? It was. And oh, what a game we have here. 2 points the margin. Brisbane in front. Now, this is worthy of a final. A fantastic game of football we're witnessing.
And the Lions fans are crying out. Was that across the line? There goes the kick towards the outer side. Carey missed it. Kennedy leads back. Blakey to his own advantage out wide. Now Carey a second chance. Close to the boundary line. Well shepherded by Blakey. Feeds it back to Welsh. Welsh on the wing. Down towards half forward. Scholl's got it. Lions lead by 2 points. Still oodles of time, over 11 minutes. There's Durkay up ahead. That's ignored. Ball is put high towards Archer. Archer comes. That could be a line mark. I think that's the right call. It's going to the Lions, and it's going to be Voss, I think. Crowd not happy with it, but Voss had a lot of courage to stand there in front. Ackermanis has the ball defensive side of the wing. What a game. Ackermanis. Great. White alongside the centre circle, penetrating kick. Keating from behind, almost fell in front. Blakey across his path. Lappin, brilliantly done. Releases Champion. Champion runs into an open goal and stretches the lead to 8 points.
Let the crowd say it all. Kangaroo fans crying for blood of the umpire at one end, and then down at this end, Brisbane Lions fans here at the MCG this afternoon cheering on their champion in Richard. Gets the opportunity and nails it with his 3rd goal. 2 in the first, 1 in this most important last quarter.
Jared Malloy, well, he injured himself early in the game, but he's done his job. He's kicked 4 goals up there at full forward. 8 points to margin in favour of Brisbane in a finals type atmosphere. The Kangaroos go forward through Stevens, who's been very, very good. Oh, Leppich is standing up when it's to be counted. He's taken 2 terrific marks under enormous pressure.
Well, look at this again, and again the defence of the Lions. White coming back hard, another heavy clash. I wouldn't like to be doing end-to-end kicking at Brisbane Lions because they all have a go at it when it's in there. Strong defence, everyone committed at the football.
So Adam Eustace having plenty to say down in deep in that back pocket. He's got to go back and just boot it as far out of that defensive area as he can. He tries that, but it's a poor kick. He's kicked it straight to Anthony Stevens, who marked uncontested. He gives it across to Carey. He's a long kick, Carey. He's going for the long bomb. Doesn't quite get hold of it. And Eustace and Voss were there. They've lost it. Peter Bell on the left. Bends it back, and that's a goal. So the little rover, Peter Bell, has kicked his 2nd after a fumble by the Brisbane players, and again you can't afford to fumble this level of football.
Now it's young Brett Voss who gets the chance. Huskis nearly there. Voss takes it, but not quick enough to get the foot to the ball. The tackling by the forwards from the Kangaroos was spot on, and Peter Bell, who in the footy record says he wants to be an outstanding player, maybe is on the way there now. 2 goals.
Lee Matthews sitting back, letting them play. Not much the coaches can do now. The margin 2 points, the Lions lead. Over 9 minutes to go. McKernan slaps it down. Voss in trouble immediately. Simpson and Stevens had him. Another ball up. The Lions generally better today in the centre square. Of course, the numbers increased now after the initial bounce. More players around. One down by Keating. Abraham in the road. Spills wide to Voss. Hand passes towards half forward. This is McCartney. McCartney across half back. Looks for the line and finds it. Wave to Wazzy and we'll have a boundary throw. 92 to 90. McKernan pushed in the back. He'll get the free. Well, after all that's been going on in there, the Kangaroos happy to get a kick, I suspect.
But that's not a free kick. There's no way. I mean, Corey McKernan really went shopping for it, and he actually bought it.
Hard to see a free. Hart across towards Ashcroft. Ashcroft gets it across to McRae. McRae swings it out wide to Power. Power has the ball at right half back. Chips it up towards the wing. Black. It's bounced around this ground all afternoon. Probing kick to half forward. Lawrence did well. Controlled it pretty well too. Found it on the ground. Right on the 50. Swings it inside. Hart goes to his left foot. Pulls it back but not enough. Hits the behind post out of bounds on the full. Longmire to take the kick.
Sean Hunt really didn't have the tricks to get around the player and confronting him then. You would have liked a more agile type player, maybe a Michael Voss who could have stepped around him to be the one on the end of it, but Hart had a go at it. No score.
Over the back. Here's Lappin. Oh, he should have kicked it. Gets it to Black, the danger player. In towards half forward. The North defenders thump it away in the direction of Blakey and Pickett. Pickett's got support from Bell. He gives it back here to Anthony Stevens, who's working overtime. He kicks to the centre of the ground, but courage. A bit of Academy Award performance by Scott. It was a courageous mark, but there was nothing in it after that. As Carey, just a little hold, before he can run off with it. They go forward again, Brisbane. Longmire at the back. It's a loose ball. Working hard there was Lawrence, and the ball didn't come loose from that pack. It'll be a bounce about 12 metres out from the Brisbane goal.
I think Welsh needed to punch that one.
Pressure on all players. Just under 7 minutes left. Brisbane Lions by 2 points. And an important get out of this bounce. Keating will try and hook it back. Here's a dangerous Moss. He hooks it back over his head. It'll be a mark if it's taken. Lawrence, did he mark it? No, said the umpire. Still in play. As Pickett tapped it on to Simpson. Well played by Adam Simpson to keep his feet. And Simpson drives to centre wing. Kennedy and Carey. No mark. Carey tried to lift his side. Getting it to Abraham. He's lost it. How the umpire see it? Abraham went in hard after it. Abraham again drives it to half forward. I don't think it's a mark, or is it? It is a mark, said the umpire, and it's been paid to Mooney.
Goes in short. Harvey was the target, knocked away. Hart the hand pass to Ashcroft. Ashcroft up towards the wing. Champion stretches. Nobody near him. Man on towards the middle is Power. Power can take it and go. End-to-end footy. Power runs away 70 metres out. Not the right spot for it, or was it? Lap and a half chance. Coming through in the opposite direction is King. Sockers it off the ground. He'll make no concessions, King. Comes through the middle. Kicks inside the 50. Back goes Archer. Fell at the feet of Durkay. Missed by Hart. Knocked away by Voss. Sliding in Archer. Kept it alive. Gets it back to Harvey. Some indecision. Spills to Carey. Carey kicks it his fourth. And it's out of bounds.
What about that option for Brisbane back here at half forward?
Young Luke Power just made the wrong decision, and what he then got was an example of what his right decision should have been. David King gets it for the Kangaroos, and he goes straight down the centre of the ground. Luke Power had that same option, decided to chip into centre half forward. Not the right one, should have attacked the goal square.
Here's Scott running around the outer side. 5:12 to go in the game. Awkward one for Champion, was taken high. Play goes on. Advantage paid. McRae to Ackermanis. Twisting, turning on the wing. The kick, a pretty good one. Pulled it back to the middle. Lawrence has it now. The Kangaroos soaking up a lot of pressure. We spoke, though, of their ability to come forward and get that killer goal. But Black has a chance at the Lions' end to hurt the Kangaroos. Lynch saying, have a shot. And Black has been wonderful. He must be tired. He'll kick from just outside the 50. Coming up for his 30th possession. Short. And the mark is held here by Lawrence. About 15 metres closer to goal.
Just great poise there between two of the youngsters. We saw it earlier at the other end in the third quarter, where they combined and eventually got down to Richard Champion and missed the opportunity to goal. But these two boys, they've really come of age here during this particular season. Stephen Lawrence, 1995, a long time ago, a couple of knee operations since then. Here's his chance.
Big kick this one, and Lawrence has kicked a goal. Wonderful kick, under pressure.
Just wonderful, this game of Australian rules football, that it builds stages for young men to stand up on. And Dennis, last weekend we saw young Ben Hollands over for Richmond and against Fremantle stand up and kick the goal. And here we have Simon Black and Stephen Lawrence, two fine young talents combining to put the Lions now 8 points out in front.
Well, that was the sign of a good player to kick a pressure goal, and it was a great kick by young Stephen Lawrence. There's McKernan trying to crash his way through the back. Black has been sensational. He really has been a great player today. Over to Lappin, he's got a paddock to run in. What will he do with it? He runs outside 50, he drives it long. Oh, will it get there? Touched on the line of diving Pickett. Byron Pickett has flown through the air and touched it right on the line.
Well, when you get a game of a third on the ladder versus fourth on the ladder, it's going to have everything. And this game has had it. There it is. Byron Pickett just surging over those last 10 metres, then flinging his body just to get the hand to it before it crossed the line.
15-9 to 13-12. Stevens around the outer side, pumps it up towards the wing. Carey feeds it back inside. McCartney peeled up half back. Well tackled by Champion. Advantage is paid. Keating runs away. The Lions meeting every challenge. King up too early. McRae's taken the mark. And he's a thumping kick.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's a long kick. You couldn't have a better bloke to have it, Terry.
And doesn't David King make a bit of a mess of this attempt here? He wasn't sure whether he was interfering or he was going to try and mark it. But McRae on the left, I mean, kicked 5 goals earlier in the year, and so and is their leading goal scorer, 26 to date.
Yeah, got the 5 against Geelong in round 9. What a telling kick this will be. If it's a goal, that should settle the match. It's off target. The Kangaroos breathe again. The margin is out to 10 points. 3 minutes to go. And that's plenty of time.
And the Lions again now sneak over the 100-point mark. They've been doing that quite regularly this year, and it's been a marked improvement in their performances, obviously, from last season.
Well, the Kangaroos have got the loose man going. Grant receives from Archer. Carey marks. He's way out on centre wing. See if they can get a goal here. The Kangaroos will have a terrific finish. Carey in towards McKernan, who flies. He's got it. Oh, Corey McKernan. This is a pressure kick. Steve Lawrence had a pressure one and kicked it. Now it's up to Corey McKernan.
So the 2 big guns, Carey and McKernan. Up he goes. Took a couple of marks in the 3rd quarter and was really displaying aggression in what he was doing. He didn't give the same facial expression just then. I think this one now is a little bit more, well, gee, I really need to be able to do this. 3 goals. He's got the kicking boot on. He's been fairly accurate at it.
There's Lee Matthews looking pretty cool and calm, but this is a big kick in the context of this game. It's close. I think he's gone all right. He has. 4 goals with the big ruckman come forward, and now there's only 1 kick in it. 4 points the margin. Brisbane Lions lead.
And that's 4 goals straight to Corey McKernan. 1 goal in the 1st quarter, 2 in the 3rd, and now this one in the last. And he always will stretch the opposition defences when he gets down there. Keating does everything he can, just a little bit too far away in the bodywork to be able to protect the spoil.
One of the standout games of this season. Less than 2 minutes to go. The margin 4 points. Keating clean possession. Hand passes to half forward. Lawrence is in front. Spills across to Ashcroft. He hand passes wider still. Hart soccers off the ground. Still Hart with a run of it. He hand passes wide. Taken by McRae. McRae about 75 metres out. Stabs it down towards the pocket. Power in trouble. Wrestled down by Pickett. Clock stops at 1:35. 100 plays, 96 is the winning sequence. 9 in a row about to end. Marvellous by the Kangaroos. But today, more than matched so far by the Brisbane Lions. Loose ball in there. Grant picks it up, kicks it high to the wing. In front, McKernan. He's going to get a free kick. Well, McKernan's got the free. Champion pleads his case. Frees have been hard to get this afternoon. Well, that right hand did sneak up, but gee, marginal. There goes the kick inside the 50. McCartney flattens his teammate Bell, but Bell is getting to his feet rather gingerly. We're down to 1:05 now. In fact, the clock is stopped. No, it's still running.
Yeah, you wonder whether he holds this long enough. Whether if it was a Lion player who collided with him, well, it just sits on his stomach virtually, doesn't it?
He goes short to Stevens. So in effect, they're running the clock down as well as having a chance to wrest the lead from the Lions. We're down to 45 seconds. A goal here, and the Kangaroos will lead by 2 points. This has been an epic on Saturday football from the MCG. Just a wonderful game. So much riding on this kick. Anthony Stevens, tired, kicks. A man for the occasion. The Kangaroos in front, looking at 10 straight.
They've kicked the last 2. And what a real special quality that is about a side who can do that. They wrested control of the game during the 3rd quarter and looked to be running their way, but the Lions, full credit to them, turned it back. And the question now has been asked of both sides in this last quarter to stand up and deliver. They both have. It'll just be who has got their nose in front when that siren blows.
20 seconds left in this game. The Kangaroos are getting players deep into defence, crowding the Brisbane forward line. This is an important ball here. It's kicked towards the forward line for the Kangaroos. I think time will run out. Akamanis, they've just got time. He's got to play on Scott. They've got 6 seconds. He's got to have a long kick. They need a mark here. They desperately need a mark. Is that a long kick? It's a mark. The Kangaroos have won. And look at the Kangaroos coaching staff. They're delighted. They've pitched this one. You've got to feel sorry for Brisbane. But the Kangaroos again, Terry, proving what a great side they are.
Without doubt. Look, both sides here just take so much away from this particular game. Gets to that fine line there with only seconds on the clock. There has to be a mark taken. Glenn Archer, who's had a dirty day by his standards, is the man that stands up and takes it.
I think that look on the face of Lee Matthews says it all. The one that got away. The Kangaroos 10 straight, 15-12 to 15-10. What a stirring finish. The Kangaroos hitting the front with 20 seconds to go. And finally winning by 2 points. It was 15-12, 102 to 15-10, 100. Out at Waverley this afternoon, St Kilda and Richmond. Here's some of the action from the second half.
tried to pick it up, then goes off the ground. Only as far as Bowden. Harvey's in the road, though, could be dangerous. Has to apply a tackle on Rogers in the end, as it turned out. Steal by Thompson. Beautifully done. Barry Hall. Barry Hall for his fourth. He's kicked 3 goals, 1. He likes it. It's there.
Did a fair job in that third term. Kicks to the half-forward line. This is where the tall timber. High flyer was Everett. The raw goes around the ground. Quick hands. Chance for Zilla. Pumps the ball into the goal square. Barry Hall, he's got it. Too big, too strong, too good. Barry Hall from 15 metres out has booted 6.
McLaren, who's also been good at foot race. Rogers and Brown. Rogers should get there first. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Stewie Lowe, back to some of his best today. Sirakoski around Andrew Callaway. Lenny Hayes will go in and kick a goal. That should be the ball game.
Replays are scheduled, so if you don't wish to know the score, I suggest you look away now. The Saints and the Tigers, check your local guides full-time here at the MCG. The Kangaroos by 2 points. Back with more right after this. game, what a finish, eh? The Kangaroos home by 2 points, grabbing the lead right at the last moment. McKernan booted 4 goals, 102 to 100.
The 1999 AFL Coca-Cola Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Foster's Light Ice for extreme refreshment. And the new Mitsubishi Magna 3.5, the next generation.
So Saturday night, round 14, the AFL ladder minus St Kilda and the Tigers result. The Kangaroos sitting on top now, 11-3. Of course, the Eagles will play tonight. And the Lions losing touch with the top 3. West Coast and Essendon second and third. Still to come in this round then. Tonight, West Coast, Melbourne. And tomorrow, 4 games. Terry is with me. And certainly a big game there, Sydney and the Western Bulldogs.
It definitely is. Conditions will be tough up there, but Sydney for mine, Essendon, Hawthorn and Geelong.
So the Kangaroos improved their record to 11-3. Next week, they play the Western Bulldogs.